Hello everyone, welcome to Startup Europe Week Sofia. We will start with a live connection with another Startup Europe Week event in Tenerife. So in actually 1 minute, and then I'll use the occasion afterwards to present the initiative. Are we ready with the connection?
Vámonos, así, Natalia. Bueno, a ver, no sé qué. Rafael Mesa, tú actúas como mentor, supermentor, ¿verdad? Sí, Rafa,
Hello.
si no puedes renombrarte, te lo hace Tony.
We are live.
Yes, we are live. Hello,
Hello.
Startup Europe Week Tenerife. We are
Hello,
welcoming
Natalia
you
from
from
Mentor Day.
Sofia. Here
Hello, everybody.
you don't see our actually guests.
Audience.
However, you can imagine them. We are here in Sofia for the first day of Startup Europe Week. And then I know that it's your fourth day of Startup Europe Week in Tenerife. Can you tell us a little bit more about the dynamics, what has happened? Tell us a little bit more about Startup Europe Week from your side.
Yes, of course. We are here now, a big group in Tenerife and in another areas in the world. And we start, the entrepreneurs start a program, an accelerator program, and now
Just a second.
they are in progress. And also at the same time, in this time, we have also mentors that want practice the mentorship. They want to improve as a mentors, a good mentors, and they are here because we have now a dynamic, very funny, that takes 3 hours, where we are going to practice tools and many things about how to be a good mentors. Also, for the entrepreneurs, this session is very important because the mentorship is very good. It's good, but you need to know how to use it. How is the best way to take this tool and this kind of person. No? So we are just starting our session. Many people are connecting now in this moment, and it will take 3 hours practicing with this methodology.
Very nice. So a little bit more general.
Can you listen me? Yes?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Se ha cortado.
Can you hear me?
Bueno.
Just a second.
Sorry, we are not hearing you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Now yes.
So
Okay.
I would like to ask, as you've been Startup Europe Week organizer in your area for many years, how do you feel being with this initiative? What is the added value for you, for people who are here in Sofia? How many years you actually been organizing this event?
I think that we start in the first years as an organization in Tenerife, and I think that every year we have been in this role, and we are very happy and very proud because we think that this way to connect a lot of cities. No, I think that we are now 300 cities connected. That is great for the entrepreneurs. We work for the entrepreneurs, and these contacts are very good in order to grow up, to know another places, another cities. For instance, imagine if you need to internationalize your sales, this is the best connection to know people that is in another country, and for us this this hub is fantastic. And also, we help a lot of people that want to grow up in Africa and in Latam, because we are just in the middle between Europe, Africa, and Latam. and we have the best taxes, the lowest taxes, and the highest financial allowed by Europe. So it's a perfect place to grow up. So for us, we will be very happy to go with you, with some of you, with some startup that if they want to grow in these three continents, we are very happy to practice our soft landing program that is so it's open always and is for free and online.
Very nice. Okay, so people from Startup Europe Week Sofia, they can feel free to contact us if they want to have a link with the entrepreneurial system in Tenerife and in Europe. I wish you very successful event today. As long as I know your event is just starting, you have 2 hours of difference, so now from your side is 3:30. So I wish you a successful event. And from our side, we have our first day of Startup Europe Week Sofia. Today we are going to speak about startups, pitching, investors. Tomorrow we are focused more on the AI topics, defense. So we're looking forward as you to continue this day, and good luck.
Thanks a lot. And give us today's contact in order to facilitate this connection to our entrepreneurs that are now in this session. Okay.
Okay.
We will be very happy to help entrepreneurs from Sofia and also for another areas of Europe. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Good luck for the event.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So the point was to show you just one of the many events, as it would be difficult to have many Startup Europe Week events connected on one time. However, this was an example that actually Startup Europe Week, it's an international initiative. It's a week for startup events where entrepreneurs in the ecosystems are gathered together in different cities in Europe and beyond, from 25 to 29th of May. So I would like to officially tell you good evening, everyone, and welcome to Startup Europe Week Sofia. Today is a special edition for us because Startup Europe Week celebrates its 10th anniversary. For 10 years, Startup Europe Week has connected entrepreneurs, investors, ecosystem leaders, startups, and local communities across Europe and beyond. Since 2016, Startup Europe Week is present, as Jamie mentioned, in more than 300 cities, more than 50 countries, together with more than 250 local co-organizers. And we can see actually the slide with the figures. Benzi? Okay, go next slide, please. It's okay, it's okay. It's a live event, so it's normal. Yeah, you can imagine, I will tell you the numbers. So over 150,000 entrepreneurs have attended Startup Europe Week events worldwide, reaching a global audience of more than 6 million people. But what makes SU important is not only the scale. The idea behind Startup Europe Week has always been very practical, to help entrepreneurs understand what opportunities, people, support, and resources already exist around there. around them. So to connect ecosystems, to connect conversations, to help people grow stronger together. And this is exactly what we want to do here in Sofia as well. Over the next 2 days, we will speak openly about fundraising, sales, AI native startups, deep tech, defense innovation, and future of building companies. Today is our survival and growth day. Tomorrow is our AI tech and future day. Most importantly, Startup Europe Week is about people, connection, and community. So please talk to each other, ask questions, share ideas, meet with new people, and see and use those 2 days fully. A big thank for our long-time host networking premium co-working spaces. I would like to ask if we can see the slide with the sponsors, please. Another, okay, another one. Okay, so we are here in the networking premium co-working space, so we thank our host and our sponsors and partners. You can see them from Devin, Wine Bratanovs, Ninja Mame, it's a new snack, and Heineken. So you can enjoy the drinks during the networking pauses. Thank you for being here. Let's begin Startup Europe Week Sofia 2026. And I would like to invite you, our host. Okay.
Can you hear me? Yes. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Startup Europe Week. Thank you, Nadia, for organizing this event. Actually, this is my second participation as a host, but last time I was hosting pitch-to-pitch competition, which was part of the Europe Week. This time I'm hosting the whole event. The first panel that we had in our program for tonight, which you attended and signed up for, was a pitching workshop, right? Nodding of heads, yes. Yes, but as we are live, again, last minute, we decided, and actually the lady who is holding the pitching workshop decided that she would like to close it actually and not do it publicly. So we had to figure out something else. So what we have for you now is another pitching panel, and I will tell you a little bit more of my experience in the pitching world and some lessons that I'm pretty sure you've never heard. Why? Because I'm not in the startup world exactly. And because what I do is I train seasoned CEOs with companies with between 50 and 100 million turnover, yearly turnover, how to speak publicly and how to go to the media. So we will hear a little bit about this. And then I have a surprise guest with me on the stage, and I'm sure you will have very interesting insight from him, because he's just back from the Silicon Valley, that's a hint, and he will share with you what is happening there in the world of big investors, big VCs, big startups, and you know, all that game. So I have my tools here with me, but I will ditch some of them. And I will introduce myself a little bit. So my name is Elena Peneva, and I have been very active in the Bulgarian startup ecosystem for the last 15 years already as a mentor of startups. And I've founded two, you might say, innovative communication agencies. And aside from that, I sold them. I made an exit in 2021, and since 2022, I'm a fractional chief communications officers of 3 clusters of companies, which are 9 brands, actually. Some of them are startups, some of them are deep tech startups, some of them are in medicine and nothing to do with startups. So I have a very big insight of all kinds of businesses. Last year, the cumulative the cumulative turnover of my clients was 100 million. This year it will be double. So I work with big companies mainly. But in the same time, as I said, I'm hands-on in the Bulgarian entrepreneurship and startup scene because last year I did a project which was my gift to the startup system. I consulted personally 100 Bulgarian startups and NGOs for free, pro bono. And I helped them to reach their marketing momentum and one goal of them, and help them guide, like I tried to guide them for 1 hour what they can do to achieve something very feasible, very fast. So after that, I built an ecosystem of partners that also wanted to help pro bono, the Bulgarian startup system. So now we have all kinds of free stuff from prototyping to all kinds of marketing services, but not only, also financial services. If you want to go global or you want to have some kind of advice on anything connected to your startup, you can actually tap into that partnership program and for free get it. So when we speak about pitching, I also am host of Pitch to Pitch, as I said. It's the pitching competition of Networking Premium. It's the biggest pitching competition in Bulgaria and only one monthly competition. So I always like to joke about this because you know, when there's this is actually Pitch to Pitch is very interesting for the ecosystem. It's a very interesting place because there is not a single other place where if you have an idea you can pitch, but also if you have a scale up, past traction, past Series A, past Series B, you can also pitch. So that's the only place that gathers such a range in the ecosystem. That might be good, that might be bad, I don't know, but it's the only place. So when we speak about pitching, I will tell you some lessons that I learned watching. Over the last 4 years, we've seen a little under 250 startups to pitch. I don't have the statistics exactly what wins Pitch to Pitch, although if I try, I may find it, but I will give you some hints. Moving on to my notes that I wrote 2 minutes ago. So, the first question in a good pitch, according to me, is who am I? This is the question the founders should ask themselves. And you will be surprised how founders of multi-million euro or dollars companies very often are confused who they are, very often. Almost most of the time. And why this is important? Because in every type of communication, whether you're pitching to investors, or whether you're pitching to clients, or whether you're pitching in the media, or whether you're in a crisis, God forbid, if you don't know who you are, who is entering the stage, who is holding the microphone, it's very, very possible to get in your head and not be able to say what is the best message for you and for your company. So first question, who am I? Then, second question, who am I pitching for? This is something I also I talk very much with everybody I meet, from founders to CEOs of big companies and owners of big companies and clusters of companies and investors, that it is really, really different if you're trying to win over a new client, that you need to convince them that you know their problem with the lingo for the industry. You cannot imagine how different a doctor speaks to a doctor. And for example, if you're trying to solve some kind of problem in medicine, if your audience is doctors and if your audience is patients, it's fundamentally different. I mean, I guess it's obvious. Is it obvious? Yes. It looks obvious, but when you hear pitchings, sometimes I'm sure that the founders don't know who they're talking to. So, who am I? Who am I talking to? Okay, right. Next thing. We move to the actual content of the pitch. How you will start. You can start with a joke. You can start with a problem. You can start with a compelling, very emotional story. You can choose the path. I also, every time I'm trying to speak something about startups, when I have a theme about startups, I go to Y Combinator YouTube channel and I see the most viewed lecture of Y Combinator, so let me tell you what they think. You should simply say, What do you do? What is your team? What is your traction? What is your unique insight? What is the market size? What is the ask? And they say actually that 80% of startups fail to convey this simple message and to answer those simple questions in their pitch. But let's say that you're genius in this, and you're genius founders, you're genius mentors in the audience, or entrepreneurs. This is also very important if you're trying to win anything. Even if a child is pitching to its parents, I would also teach them to be very simple and very, you have to be understandable. So this is why I started with the audience before actual pitch, because really it's really important who you are talking to. And then, again, to convey the message. But also I will tell you something else. And I'm sure that this is something that you rarely hear on the stage when you start when you listen somebody speaking about pitch. People are emotional beings, right? We know this rule about what we see and how we hear, and then the last really important thing is what you actually say, you know, the text. But we are also very much like in seconds we can detect, for example, emotional instability or physical discomfort. We are like sharks for blood for this. I was just on an event and I was sitting next to a guy I meet, and on the stage there was somebody speaking, and her voice had a, I don't know what's the word in English, her voice was a little bit off. And he told me in my ear, is she sick? Like, people can detect that. We are very much emotional. So again, when you go on stage, one very cool approach to do is the body approach. How to do it? I don't know if you've heard that cult TEDx talk, but do you know that this position, holding this position for 20 minutes, 20 seconds, sorry, 20 seconds. 20 minutes, you have to be strong. Okay, 20 seconds, this position. Do you know what it does? Yes, you know. Do you know? How many have heard this TED talk? Raise hands. 1, 2, 3 people. Okay. For the rest, 20 years ago, neurologists knew that just this position in most of the animal kingdom means I'm winning. Yes, I just won. So just holding your hands above your head before you go on the stage for 20 seconds will drop down your adrenaline and will raise up testosterone and dopamine, which means you will look more assertive, and everybody will see that your physical being on a very much biological level will be better than the one that it was 20 seconds ago. So when I start teaching anybody anything about public speaking and media speaking, the first thing I ask them is just to hold their hands above their head, and if they're and if they do sports, I ask them to do some squats before that. Because when your VO2 max is high, you can actually benefit of a little bit of exercise. Then the second thing I said is the voice. So I will not say much about this, but if you know that you have some kind of rhinitis, because this is something very often on stage and very often in studios, people, exactly. Who was that? Exactly. If you do that more than twice, people start wondering, is he sick? And if you're sick, you know, on subconscious level, everybody starts feeling sorry for you. And I don't know if they'll give you more money, but for sure, try to, don't do that. Like, don't drink coffee right before going on stage. Drink some water, clear your throat, and try to work with your voice. Try to train your voice. If you're holding the mic for the first time, you cannot imagine out of those 250 startups, how many of them, first of all, their hands are like this. They come here, this is the jury on pitch to pitch, and their voice is failing them. So, like, work on your voice. This is the second thing. And let me see, what is the third thing? Because you have to have a third thing, because, you know, all the startup culture is originating from the US. Everything we know is from the US. They love 1, 2, 3. We remember everything, right? It might be not 3, it might be 10, but you need to have a number. Okay. Yeah. The last thing I wanted to tell you, that very, very few people have the strength to be this type of strength of mind over body. Very few people have it. Usually it's body over mind. If you have tried to lose weight more than once, you know that it's actually body over mind, right? So when you approach pitching, first think about the body. The voice is part of the body. Then think about the mind. And about the mind, I will tell you just one thing. People who are very, who don't like to speak publicly, do you know what's their problem mainly? They think about themselves. They think about themselves. They're never too passionate about what they're giving to the audience, and they're thinking, what is the audience thinking about me? Do they see me right? Do I look stupid? Do I look confident? Can I say something smart? You know, they're in their head thinking about themselves. So if you want to achieve mind over body, just think forward for the audience, for the person next to you, for the people on stage. So after this lecture, I would like to actually dig into the real thing, you know. So I'm very, very glad to invite on stage Kosiu, Constantin Kunev. Yes. Yes, you're very athletic. You should do it.
Thank you. Hello, hello, hello.
Should I introduce you, or do you want to introduce yourself?
I will introduce myself. I'm a big clown.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kosio. I am currently running the Future Unicorns Accelerator. I just came back from San Francisco, went to fundraise in London. I'm back since yesterday. I have no clothes left, which is why I'm dressed in my working clothes right now. So good to see you all. Thank you, Eli, for this lovely, warm up essentially on what we do. And I'm very appreciative that you said everything starts in the US. It is a very unfortunate truth, but that is very true, I'm
on
afraid.
Startup Europe Week. But
Yeah.
I'm not happy with the introduction. Can you say
Yes.
more about the Future Unicorns, and then we can sit down and talk a little
Sure.
bit?
So Future Unicorns used to be called the Bulgaria Innovation Hub about 2 years ago. We rebranded, and we are now accepting companies from not just Bulgaria, but also Central and Eastern Europe. Hence, we had to change the name, and it had to have no Bulgarian connotation, so we don't push away, our fellow neighbors from Romania, Serbia, or whatever you have. But essentially, we're a startup accelerator. We're based out of San Francisco. We provide founders from Europe the opportunity to build a go-to-market strategy for the US, which includes building your sales operations, building your product market fit, and most importantly, how to fundraise in the United States. And as an organization, we've existed since 2018. The organization was started by Vasil Terziev, Bogomir Balkansky, Ivan Dimov, and my predecessor, the previous CEO, Pavlina Yanakeva, who was with us until this past September. She's still very much also part of the organization, and she's our eyes and ears full-time in San Francisco right now. We just wrapped up our 2026 program, which included 9 companies, and with them we've now worked with 80 startups. Probably the ones you know the most are companies like Endurosat, like Evrotrust, like Ampeco, Dronamics. All of them have managed to participate in the program, raise in the US or sell to US customers. They're kind of our flagship quote-unquote companies, but of course we've had 8 companies that have already made their exits, and we are very much looking forward to the next ones. And since we're brand to Future Unicorns, I'm waiting for one of them to be valued as a unicorn so I can scratch that future part off. Was that enough?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
Are there founders in the audience? I know one of them, 2.
Yeah,
3,
raise
4.
your hand. Keep them 20 seconds up,
Okay.
right?
5, 6, okay.
How many of you are raising currently or have raised money before from whether angel investors, funds? Only one, thank you. Good job, good job. It's
They're pre-Series A, or are you at Series A?
What series are you?
Pre-Series A. Okay.
Pre-series, good. Good job. It's a tough business.
Yeah. Okay, let's sit down.
We are sitting down.
Yes.
Don't destroy the inventory.
I'll try not to. Okay. Because we need to be sat down for you to spill the tea. What happened in the Silicon Valley? Because I know that your program has mentors that work with the startups when they are still in Bulgaria or the Balkans, where they are originally from, and then you go to the US, and they actually pitch and meet many VC firms and investors.
Yeah, so essentially we call this an accelerator, but thankfully, first we're structured as an NGO, so we do this because this is a great mission that Vasil and Bogomil started back in the day. We still keep that torch up. The program essentially has an online component. It's 2 weeks that we invite mentors that mostly talk about things like leadership, transitioning from being a founder to being a leader of an organization when you're scaling up, talking about PR, talking about marketing, talking about outward communication, and of course about culture in Silicon Valley. The later part of the program is in person in San Francisco. It's about 3 weeks. And then we kind of put the founders through a real ringer. We usually have 5 to 6 sessions during the day. We have about 2 to 3 hours for networking and catching up on businesses. And every night we also have evening events that usually either we organize or organized by partners of ours in the Bay Area. And all of our mentors are volunteers. These are entrepreneurs who have exited their companies already or are currently building another one. People that are parts of big funds like Sequoia, USVC, some of the Bulgarian funds as well, of course, have mentors in the program. And of course, executives from big companies. For example, we have pretty much most of our sales topics are covered by people that do AI sales for HP, for Stripe, and for Google and Salesforce. So a pretty impressive bunch of mentors. They're all volunteers, as I mentioned earlier. We're an NGO, we don't have money to pay them, so that's the whole shtick. And when they start in the program, usually they end up with about 20 versions of their initial VC pitch, because there are a lot of differences, and the biggest challenge for us and the biggest challenge for them as founders is essentially to transition outside of this mindset of I'm fundraising in Europe and I'm talking to European founders. As you said, one of the things you really need to take into consideration is who are you actually, pitching to, essentially. And so that's the biggest shift we need to do, and that's why, at the end they have about 20 versions of their pitch. We usually ask them to do different formats. We have some demo nights that literally have like 1-minute pitch. This year we managed to participate in a big conference called Startup Grind, one of the biggest conferences in the Bay Area. And we had 20 Bulgarian founders that literally pitched for 1 minute in front of a VC panel back there. And by the end, they would have pitched in front of Bogomil and Sequoia. They would have pitched in front of a panel of 3-4 investors that have invested in 100 millions and billions of revenue companies. So we are really squeezing them out during these 5 total weeks.
We talked with you about a thesis of mine because which has been proven more and more over the last months, that go-to-market and market insight, domain knowledge, but mostly something unique, like a unique shortcut for the market, is one of the things that is absolutely crucial for success right now. And by selling and by, I mean, even the access to money, you might also say that it's kind of a market, insight. So how much does the pitch contribute to success for a startup?
Sure. Well, the pitch is pretty much everything.
Really?
More or less. I mean, it's a component. First, let's talk a bit about differences between Europe and the US. First, in order to successfully pitch, and there are exceptions to this rule, of course, I'm not generalizing. We recently, last summer, helped another Bulgarian founder raise in the US without being physically permanently there. But mostly what what VCs expect in the Valley is that you're there physically with them. So they would be interested, have you opened an entity in the US? Are you selling to US customers? Are you as a founder there physically present? Do you have intentions to stay there and to build there? So these are very important cues. And many people, I'm sure some of you have interacted with US VCs, they're the nicest people online, but they will almost never follow up with you if they're not able to follow up with you in person. So in that regard, the location, so the physical proximity is also very important. Back when COVID hit, San Francisco was empty and people were saying, oh, okay, the era of Silicon Valley is over, yada, yada. Obviously, that's not the case. It's still the biggest place to build companies. And so being proximately there is important. And The product market fit point you make is a very good one. The US VCs essentially invest based on two main metrics, right? The first one is the founder, so it's a founder-heavy pitch. So whatever you're doing, I like your opener about who am I. European founders and European VCs are frequently not interested in the team, except at the end, like there's a small slide, and here's the team by. For the US VCs, it's very important that they invest in exceptional founders. And the second part is the market component. So 80% of decision making for investors is based on the founder or the founder team and the market. And therefore,
by the market, do you mean the market potential, or do you mean the market insight and the domain insight?
So it is the two. First is the market potential, of course, because US VCs want to invest in companies that can bring X10, X20, X30 returns, where I would say that our VCs are frequently more conservative in that regard. But the second component is what is essentially an exceptional founder, right? An exceptional founder can frequently be a market insider, a person that is very much, has the pulse of the big market that they have described. So as an investor, I would be looking into what is that big market, and is this founder exceptional enough and has that market insight to actually capitalize on that potential? Because what at least Sequoia says is you can have a 5 billion market or describe a 50 billion market, but you're not entitled to a single cent out of that market. So if you don't have these insights, obviously you won't be able to capitalize on it.
I have another question, which is inspired by a common friend of ours, Sim Simeonov, one of the very successful people in the US, 2 times unicorn exits, the 2 exits from unicorns, and then many others which are not, which are significant. He had a third one, that person. So he had, he said something very deep, and I think that the founders should really listen to it, because for me it was mind-blowing. That the job of a VC, of an investor actually, is to believe 2 lies, like what they do all day is to listen to thousands of people lying to them, then choose which lies and liars seem like it might be true, then bet on 100, and then 1, 2 to 10 of them actually might be saying the truth. So it's when you say it like this, it feels like the pitch is the most important thing, because they need to believe the lie.
Yeah, I mean, first, for those that don't know, Sim, again, his current venture is also a unicorn already. He's the CTO and co-founder there. He's on our board. He's a mentor in the program. He is also, I think he chairs the Bridge and BESCO, and he's been very supportive of the ecosystem. But in essence, I think that statement describes exactly that US VCs do still keep to their heart the understanding of what a VC is. It is a high-risk investment at the end of the day. And yes, you will bet on them. You can describe them as liars for sure, because you will bet on all these. They completely disregard all these, if you invest in 60 companies, 57, only on the bet that the other 3 would actually prove to be either the best liars or the liars that can then turn the lie into reality, right? That's the tricky part. And in that regard, again, they emphasize very much on you as a founder. I'll give you a quick example. Sequoia, for example, very frequently would pass on a product. So if you have a good product idea, but you're not the amazing founder they're looking for, but the market is there, so you've described a big enough market, and you already have a product, they would rather pass on you and then look for the second person that has a similar idea, because no idea is unique, let's face it, has a similar idea, targets the same market, but is a bit more exceptional than you. And they will financially back them, and they will overtake you on the market. So it's also betting, again, going back to the point of the liar. Sometimes you might have the truth, and sometimes you might already have a product. But if there's a better liar than you and they are targeting the same market, VCs very well might bet on them rather than you, and you might end up being, I don't know, kicked out of the market or being acquired by those that came before, after you.
You said that usually the startups going there end up with 8 different types of pitches, 8 different types for 8 different types of investors, I guess, or VCs, right?
It's more different, versions of improvement, because after every pitch, they get feedback from our mentors who are investors who evaluate, pitches every day, and they give their own perspective. Of course, in the world of building startups, there's no one-size-fits-all solution, right? Every founder needs to take that feedback with a grain of salt, but at the end of the day, if you are, getting feedback from people who have invested in companies that are sold for 32, 36 billion, I would probably listen to their opinion and try to incorporate it in the pitch.
Okay. So my question is, what is the most surprising thing, especially for founders, because some of the companies are very mature, some of them actually are Bulgarian founders, but founded in the UK or somewhere in Western Europe. So what is the big difference that you find it's groundbreaking for them between the pitch for Europe and pitch for the US?
I think the biggest problem and mind shift for them is exactly that. I should stop talking about my product. I should stop pitching to everyone all the time, every opportunity that I get, and essentially first talk about me and my team as a person, because the rule that people buy from people is absolutely valid for VCs as well in the States. And the second part, I guess, more importantly, is that we essentially, if there is one rule that is among all mentors, is that if you're fundraising, quote unquote, you're never fundraising, right? Fundraising should be done with preparation, as most things I would say. It should be done strategically, and it should be very well timed. So essentially we teach founders to pick a period, which is usually March, April, or May, and then September and October. Target 3 weeks, do their enough research so that they target maybe 60 to 80 different funds, and then they use these 3 weeks to fundraise. Before that, you essentially are quote-unquote fundraising, but not technically, which is why I think topics like PR, network communication, attending events, and talking to people is very important. It is a breath of fresh air for a lot of investors being at an event that a person would come to them and just talk about them and tell them that, it's funny that they like hiking or they do something like that, because they have this defense mechanism. When someone approaches them, they're like, are you going to pitch to me? And so when you don't, and you share something interesting and you connect with them on a human level, then they might ask, oh, that's really interesting. I do that thing that you mentioned as well. What are you doing here? What are you building? And then as a founder, you can say, oh, I'm building XYZ platform.
I have a question.
And then what, right? So you don't say, I'm currently raising 500K, yada, yada, etc. That conversation will probably come further down the line.
We will have the next panel actually is very thematic on that, because it's the new fundraising reality. And in our panel right now, I will ask the next guest we will have on pitching will be an investor. So there she is. And so my last question to you actually will be the last question to her as well. So prepare, Christina. You are now raising, and now you're pitching because you're an NGO, and now you're fundraising. So what do you apply from everything that we just taught to those cool people and startups?
Yes, I'm fundraising if anyone has spare cash. Well, the rules I apply is first approaching this strategically and not just in every conversation mention, hey, by the way, we're an NGO, we need some money. But instead, I do have a period. I'm currently fundraising in May and June. And it is based on the value we've created from the program. I can evaluate it, I can share it, I can describe it. But before talking about the value, I mostly connect with our donors and potential donors, again, on a more personal level, because as I said at the start, when Bogomil and Vasil started this organization, it was based on a mission, on an idea, more so than a product. So we never pitch a product. I think people can see the results of the founders that we work with, and they speak for themselves, so we don't need to pitch that essentially. But I connect with people on a personal level, and I do have certain periods of time in which I fundraise with enough research for my potential donors. If someone comes along the way unexpectedly, of course, I'm not going to turn them away. But for the most part, these are like 3 rules that I apply.
Thank you very much. So from what I understand,
Do I remain here?
maybe not.
Okay. You can show me off stage.
Yes, thank you. This is why I stood up, just to hint you with my body. Thank you very much. So what I understood is that you rather prepare for conversations and not pitch here and there and everywhere.
Yeah, we run a time program. The next program is starting March 2027. Of course, I'm looking for companies that are looking towards the stage that I can help. But again, as we're a mission, I'm happy to connect with founders and see how I can help them, whether it's connecting to a network, whether it's helping them with advice, maybe some looking at their decks, giving feedback. So don't feel shy, approach me. I'd rather talk about ourselves and then you can tell me about your product than rather me pitching the foundation.
Thank you very much, and thank you for joining me on stage.
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm giving the microphone back.
Thank you, Christina. Can you join me on stage? So the next and the last 15 minutes of this panel will be again for pitching, but this time from the perspective of an investor. But also she's very often pitching because she's raising money for their funds, right? So can you please pitch yourself and present yourself in a little bit in the beginning, and then you can join me on this chair here.
Hi everyone, I'm Christina. I'm with Impetus Capital. We're a growth investor, so basically investing a bit later on than most investors here in our region. We invest in awesome companies, of course, as every investor would say, but we do look for solid traction for at least a certain level of revenues, let's say 1 million, 2 million revenues already under their belt. Established use cases, very knowledgeable team, ready to scale. But of course, we've invested in our lifetime in pre-seed companies. So I can give a view on all of the cycles. We also take companies public. We already have a $1 billion company listed on Cetra. So really, truly from seed to IPO.
Thank you. Please, can you sit down right in front of me? Yes. Okay. So this panel is on pitching, so we will not talk about investing. I mean, we will talk about investing, but only through the perspective of the pitch. So what is the first thing that, what is the first thing you see in a founder while evaluating their pitch? What is the most important thing for you?
Enthusiasm. It's the most important thing when you start a conversation for a pitch, of course, not for a first intro with an investor. When you come to a pitch and you know that's what you're here to do, it's not an event, it's not networking, you need to be able to transfer your enthusiasm. And I'm not talking about, teenage excitement or whatever. You need to be able to convey how much you believe in your problem solving, and not really how amazing your product is, how truly profound your tech is, how amazing your team is, but more so what is the problem, what is the pain you're solving, and as long as I believe you, then conversation is productive from there.
I've noticed that when you're a jury on pitch to pitch and you ask questions to the founders, you always ask them not what they do, not what is the market, not what are they missing or looking for. It's usually questions about personal reasons or personal insight. So should the pitch be personal or factual?
So every founder needs to know their numbers, and lately I've seen some founders come to me and telling me, well, that's already in my pitch deck. That's a no-go. So everything we investors ask, even if it sounds like a dumb and foundational question, it's to test you. I can find out how big your market is. I know how fast it will grow. Claude can do that for me, right? I want to know who you are. Why are you going to take this company to the next level? That's why I focus on the personal. I want to get to know you as a person, how your brain functions, how you function within your team, how well covered you have your bases within the team. So like product-only teams are not strong enough to really go out there and sell and scale internationally. So that's why personal insight into the way you think, how you approach, I want to know the niche little strategies you're taking to market your product or to get to your first client or test users.
With Kosio, we spoke about what is specific to the US investors and VCs, and he said that one of the very important things is, and this is why pitching is very important there, it's your physical presence, and they would not follow up with you if they cannot see you. So tell me about European VCs. What do you look for in a founder and in a pitch? What is important to you here?
Presence is very important, but not in the way that you need to be this cookie cutter type of founder, right? You would see a lot of American, Canadian founders pitching in a very similar way each time, very confident, very ready to tell you everything you want to hear, answering sometimes not what you're asking, but answering with something very much better that you never knew you wanted to hear, but really trying to cover their bases. And that's not necessarily how every founder should do it. We are different people, we have different strengths. So just because you're not maybe this very enigmatic and energetic person doesn't mean that you will not secure financing.
But also in your fund, you're very much specific about who you're funding. They need to have traction. They need to be close to €1 million of turnover, yearly turnover. Then you need to be in love with the team. They need to let you, for example, on their board of directors.
I need to see a team that's working together. So if there's just, of course, there's always a leader. That's not something you can go around. But if you have, let's say, a team of 4, you need to have a good dynamic within. Everyone needs to know where they should be and pitch in whenever it's their time. It's not like someone is waiting for approval to start talking. It's about a dynamic that you can see that can take your company very long, because, you know, if you just gathered with your best pals, that's not necessarily a recipe for success.
Where are the most convertible pitches? What I mean is, when you see a startup, I'm guessing you have an inside pitching invitations that people come to you and they pitch to you in your office. Then you go to events and you see startups that you like. Then somebody else tells you about a startup, then they pitch to you. So in Europe, what do you think? Is there a magic number? Are we more of an ecosystem that likes proximity?
We like proximity, but we also like successful people. Europe loves funding second-time, third-time founders. All across Europe, these are the people that will first get the money, and unfortunately in our region, we are still not mature enough to have that many, to turn out that many successful second, third-time founders. So unfortunately, it is about who do you know, how close can you get to them, and that's where advice from the last panel is very crucial, where networking is truly important in the sense that you create actual relationships. You don't go to someone to get their money. You get to know them. You need to understand if they're a good partner for you too. It's a 10-year relationship that you're going into with somebody, and don't just treat this as okay, I'm applying, I cover all of the tick boxes. It's not a checklist. You don't just get the money just because you cover the checklist. It's relationship building. It's seeing someone twice, 3 times, 5 times, and then maybe on the 6th time you're already talking about a potential deal.
Is it common for you and the startups that you invest in to go and pitch to another fund for the rest of the money, or in a round? Do you train them to go pitch forward?
It's not a training, because conversations with us are always back and forth. So when we ask questions, you actually learn a lot about what you need to know, how well prepared you need to be. And then once you've had single funding round with us, and then a due diligence process with us, and then a strategic meeting with us for your next round, you're already ready to pitch. It's not a, how do I say it? Once you raise your first round, you never stop fundraising from then. If you know what you're doing, if you know where you're going, fundraising becomes this constant thing where, of course, you have very intensive fundraising periods where you go back to meetings, but then you also go to your trade conventions, you go to your industry fairs, and you never know who you meet there, and you need to be ready to pitch everywhere. However, not necessarily in a, I'm raising 2 million, you know, and da-da-da.
Do founders detest pitching, or do they start to like it? What do
Oh,
you
everyone
think?
hates pitching. Everyone hates pitching because it's an uneven relationship. There's always the dominant side, and it's not you. I know, because I'm pitching my
Okay,
ass off.
tell me then at the end of our of our conversation, how do you feel? Because I remember one time we were at a pitching event with you, and you said, "Oh my God, it's so cool to be on that side, but tomorrow I'm flying to I don't know where, and I'm on the other side." So you hate pitching as well.
It's really nice to tell people how amazingly you're doing your job, what incredible feats you've been able to achieve, but that doesn't always translate on the other side as exciting or worthwhile. And so when you don't see the click, it starts to get discouraging. And that's why people hate pitching, but most of our founders have received like a couple hundred no's. The last founder I backed received 500 no's for their last round before she closed the 8 million round. So it's like you need to get comfortable with rejection, you need to get comfortable with misunderstanding, you get to understand how to pitch better every single time, and as long as you have that drive, you're good, but it's never a good time.
I wanted to tell you also another thing that we know from big accelerators and VCs is that most founders remember like really long the VCs that told them no, and they're especially irritating, and they remember all of them, and they kind of sometimes forget the ones that back them up or give them a contact forward or help them in some way. Do you feel the same? Is it something very human? Do you remember the no's better than the yeses?
I wouldn't say I remember the no's better than the yeses, because a no is further than nothing. Plenty of times you would pitch and there would be nothing, radio silence. That's not helpful to you because you don't know what didn't go as well. So when you get that feedback, it's gold, like gold. And if you happen to receive a no, that's not just your typical, oh, we're whatever, it's not our geography. When you get true feedback, you need to hold on to that, and that person just did you such a good service.
Thank you very much. Audience, I hope you enjoyed these conversations, lectures. Yes. Actually, you can stay on stage. You can pick whichever favorite seat here is. Are the others participants? Are the other participants here? Milena? Hi. Okay. We'll have 30 seconds break. Okay, so I kind of said what is the next topic, and it is the new fundraising reality, and we will have amazing people here on stage with us. First, I wanted to again introduce Kristina Boseva from Impetus Capital, fund that backed a unicorn already, probably a few others in the making, also very famous with their site. Is it a business? Okay, their site thing, which is a very innovative type of crowd-funded, yeah, Yes, if you want to be successful on the Bulgarian market, on the Bulgarian fund stock exchange, go to these guys. They're 10 out of 10. Next one, Milena Stojcheva. She is the moderator, and maybe she would like to present the others. Milena, I saw her. Yes, she is here. Let me introduce her to you. She was actually part of one of our previous governments, so she not only can speak about fundraising realities, but also on a governmental level and institutional level. She's a top moderator, so she will present herself, I guess. We have Stoyan, are you here? No? Somebody from Vitusha Ventures, maybe. Dimitar Kostov, are you here? Yes, Dimitar Kostov from Innovation Capital, one of the... Is it still the biggest fund? Yes, in terms of number of startups, yes, you can go from there or you can go from there. Those guys have backed up so many companies, they have lessons for sure. And we have Maria Nenkova. Are you here, Maria? Please join us on stage. Automotive and mobility, something in Bulgaria. I hope that Milena will introduce you. And we have one startupper, which is who is Konstantin Mikhailov from Bodyguard, who, believe me, because I've consulted them many times, he tried all the fundraising realities. He has a very, very interesting experience and success in some of them. So I guess some hard lessons will be learned here. Hi. Please welcome on stage. I will give you a few microphones, but first the main microphone to the moderator.
Yes. Well, thank you. Hello, everyone. What a great pleasure to be here. I would have liked to see a much fuller hall, I have to say, because it's an important time for I think people in Bulgaria, but also internationally, to be looking at opportunities and to be creating their enterprises. I like to say that we have entered the era of entrepreneurship, because this is the mode and this is the behavior and way of living that will help people to survive in very unpredictable, uncertain, ambiguous times and all of that. So hope there will be more infected by this bug of entrepreneurship, and hope that our panel is going to help all of you in this environment and somehow encourage you, give you a bit of a push or a trigger or some kind of spark so that you can decide to move forward. One thing I just would like to say about myself is I consider myself first and most of all someone who likes to start new things. So I've called myself a fire starter. But it's happened throughout life that I've always been in the beginning of starting new ventures, ideas, enterprises, and somehow they're also related to making a change and pushing boundaries. So in this, I've started one organization that I'm extremely proud of and that's made a huge impact in the country, in really opening the choice for entrepreneurship, and it's called Junior Achievement. Over the years, we've had over 500,000 young people go through the educational programs. So I'm currently serving as the chairperson of the board of directors of J Bulgaria. I'm also serving on the bigger J Worldwide community. I'm building a VC fund in Luxembourg to support deep tech startups with about 30 million. And with this, trying to support a new culture in Europe. And the opportunity for alums, for young people, for more senior people, for anyone who feels that this is relevant to create enterprises. And I have the pleasure today to be on this panel with these great people. So today the conversation will be what are the opportunities, what are the trends in supporting, in funding There are different types of ways to support and to fund one's enterprise and startup and venture, to also aid different founders. I have to say that the landscape has been changing, and we have representatives from the VC community, from a form of actually hybrid format of funding that would be also public plus VC, as well as some other forms through, as we said, shared platforms, crowdfunding platforms, and including the new initiatives that have been launched in the European Union that are related to building ecosystems and bigger platforms where different players are coming together, and they are also in support of entrepreneurs and founders. So before I go into the questions, 3 main points about the landscape, the funding and investment landscape. As you know, there has been quite of a hype. Investors were quite open-minded and even generous until 2-3 years ago. And what's been happening now is there is a much more focus on execution. Of course, AI is playing everywhere. They are paying much more, not so much only for vision, but they're paying also for, they're investing in terms of delivery and traction. And on the one hand, there is quite of a boom of and opportunities of investment in different forms. On the other hand, it's becoming a little bit more difficult. So let's explore what is happening in Bulgaria. And one thing we've been discussing, we've had quite a successful story with the launch in our venture capital ecosystem with the Jeremy program that has been a pioneer in opening through funds and accelerators the space for supporting more entrepreneurs. That was some time ago. And now we are actually happy to see the results of that program and the impact, because we even have the so-called recycled resource available. So the investment has been good by the first funds, and the money has come back and it's coming again into the ecosystem. So it's a very, very good best practice from Bulgaria that we've given to the whole of Europe and also internationally. And this is one of the areas of investment. So we will see the new funding period that is coming through the support of the Fund of Funds program in Bulgaria, and 2 of the funds that have already won the tenders and are going to be to start operating this year, by the end of the year. So they'll be looking for startups, for founders, for companies to make an impact both here and regionally. This is one of the areas, and we want we will hear from these 2 funds. Then something that is also happening is another innovation on the market, which will be presented by Christina, who represents the Impetus Capital. And we will hear also from Maria Nenkova, who represents one of the digital innovation hub initiatives, and one of the partners there, which is also an opportunity to support entrepreneurs. And then we have someone who's been also innovating and who managed to raise funds and launch his company also through different resources. So let me start now with Dimitar. Dimitar, could you share with us what is happening with your fund? What are the maybe the trends you're observing, and what you will be looking for in terms of next investments coming up?
Thank you, Milena, for giving me the floor. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope the traffic jam is the reason why the audience is so scarce. But anyway, I'm happy to be here and share with you our vision, our mission, the aims that we are pursuing with our new fund, and the general outview of the market. Actually, a lot of money, a lot of VC money are coming, and it's in under the fund of funds. It's under the EIF and the Jeremy, as Milena mentioned. So we'll be competing for projects, and I hope there are good projects and founders and entrepreneurs in Bulgaria, and I'm sure that all of you will find the proper fund to support your idea and project. As Milena said, the VC industry has shifted a little bit in terms of pricing and in terms of requirements for the successful project. So we're not looking only at the activities that are going on in the enterprise, but more on the results those activities will bring and the approach to the market. So actually, from the panel, the earliest fund in terms of stage of company is absent, but Stoyan will soon be joining us. He'll be in our shoes, because with Innovation Capital 1, what we did is we covered the acceleration and the pre-seed stage, most of it. We made more than 200 deals, and we supported a lot of founders, and we learned our lessons, and we continue in that approach to help founders with our new fund. What we are looking for with our new fund is the innovation, as the name suggests, but more strictly the novelty in the business processes, in the product and services. And the novelty is not just something new, it's a completely different approach in the business process, a completely different aspect of the product and service that can be measured economically to bring an advantage to the company, and it has to be put into practice. So only the activity is not sufficient, you know. It's something that is more targeted to the tech transfer funds, and they are coming too. The good news is that a lot of money institutional is coming, and if we add on the private money, they could reach 1 billion euro, you know. So
total.
Total,
like here
yeah,
on
yeah.
our market.
Absolutely, yeah. I can.
So make a note, guys. I mean, this is not such a small amount.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could actually flood our market with funding.
Yeah, after a drought that lasted for 2 and 3 years, that sounds like a flood, really. But those money will be deployed within 4 to 5 years. So there will be time for you to think about your business, your idea, to put it into practice, and to see what is the support that you can get. So the innovation is one thing. We also have, and the whole VC industry have shifted from let's say software as a service, marketplaces and e-commerce to AI, to what the new era of information technology can bring us. And that's also our focus with our new fund. We are in the big data, in the AI, in the cybersecurity, in the cloud services, also in automation and robotization of processes within each enterprise. Of course, we are looking at the human side of things as well, so we cannot go without healthcare and longevity, but in terms of health tech, in terms of biotechnology and agri-tech, and of course what humans need is creation and recreation activities, and that's where we also focus. What we do in our leisure time, actually, we go in for sports, for culture, for education, and for entertainment. So this will be the focus actually of our fund. Our span is from seed to growth. We are not confining ourselves to the very early stage or to the growth stage of the company. We are mostly throughout the cycle of the company's life, but what we're looking at is, as I've told you, it's the innovation in the process or in the product and service. That's all about.
So could you share more or less the size of the tickets that you are
our new fund will bring 32 million of institutional money, which will be topped up with about 7 million of private, so it will be around almost close to 40 million euro. And we have to, our business plan is to invest in about 50 companies, so the average ticket will be around 700-800K. We can go up to 1.2 million as well with the private money, and we really would like to have the feedback, yours feedback, and to see where the innovation and the new approach to making things happen in the new year, and you're thinking about it.
So in this way, would you be still funding more for growth or for sustainable development? I mean, sustainable in terms of economic sustainable.
Our background is early stage actually, so we will move one step ahead. It won't be at an idea stage, especially with the definition of innovation. Actually, it's something, if you read the Oslo manual, it's something that has been on the market already or has been put into operations in terms of business processes. It's not just something that is going on within the company, because that's what differentiates innovation activities from innovation and novelty itself. And we can, of course, we can fund innovation activities, but the more proper fund for this will be the tech transfer fund. It's really a pity that in the previous program period there was no tech transfer fund, because if it had been, that would have been the most
perfect way to encourage
the
growth.
to take the relay baton and pass it on forward.
Welcome. Well, thank you, Dimitar. I think we will continue maybe a little bit this discussion once we go through this. I understand that this is the point, that innovation would be key. This is a metric that you would like to discover in any of the proposals coming to you, and then enhancing the work of the current enterprise or the startup would be also another feature. So let's turn now to, I actually asked Christina, since Stoyan Nedin just came, so
give him a breather.
To give him a breath of air. So Christina, could you share with us what is new and why? I know you've been recognized for a successful kind of hybrid model that you're offering here on the market. Impetus Capital has been known for a success story for supporting a unicorn coming forward through an IPO, listing on a foreign stock exchange. So could you share with us your vision, how you approach the market, where are the opportunities, and what is the different value proposition that you offer?
So we operate in a constant state of drought. If there was drought the last few years, there's drought for growth equity across Europe, but mostly in CE. We already know disproportionate amounts of funding comes into the region. That's very clear. But for reference, if we got pro rata growth investments to the region, we would have 2 billion per annum flowing on top of what we're getting. So that's 2 billion that growth companies are not receiving. And we've been doing this for the last 10 years. We didn't start yesterday. So when we approach a scaling of a company, it's really nice to have abundant, and it's really important to have an abundant pre-seed, seed, late seed ecosystem. It's what makes founders realize that they can actually build something disruptive. They can
and start
change.
believing in
Absolutely.
this way of living. Yeah.
But then you hit a wall because there's no further investment to support your journey. And when you really see what's necessary, it's not like, okay, I raised a seed of 500K, I raised my next round of a 1 million, then I'll need 2. No, you need 10. Your needs don't double, they 10x. If you have, of course, the privilege to operate a successful scaling company. So then once you reach, let's say...
However, which one is the first, chicken or the egg? Because if you don't have ambition, you don't operate a successful, I mean, you don't have the drive to create such a company. And then if you are stuck when you know that you don't have an opportunity to be supported with capital and other efforts, so you, of course, you will not do it.
Let me put it this way. Over the last 10 years, we've seen so many companies that have gone on to create great businesses, but once they hit a wall of not being able to raise their next round, they just become good companies, right? They just stay where they are, they grow organically, and that's that. And it's a great company, but it's not a visible success story from our region. It's not what's going to push our ecosystem further. So
I think, excuse me to be a little bit argumentative here, but I think it's not just about becoming, it's actually whether you can survive nowadays. For a good company, it needs to be supported, it needs to grow or innovate, one of the two. Otherwise, you cannot beat the competition. So I just think that you're providing more than just even the opportunity to be considered a good company from the region. It's more that they have a chance to exist.
Yeah, so what we've been able to do with our strategy is provide a more permanent way to tap into capital, to enable truly good companies to fundraise without the pressure of, oh, who will be my right partner? Will they even want to back my companies? A lot of investors are even not willing to back Bulgarian companies. I mean, let's be honest. So when you think about how can you grow, it's not just a question of how do I get the money, but where do I want to go? What we do is we take founders that are willing to go all of the way, so not just build a company that's a good buy for someone else. We take companies public that are willing to really go the full mile with their vision and build a category-defining company. So that's a bit of a, let's say, different take on classic VC, because VC loves M&A, and M&As are great. They're an amazing outcome, mostly for founders, not always for investors. And then our way of financing companies in the growth stage by taking them public relatively early. So let's say companies that already have 2, 3, 5 million euros annual revenue, that's considered very early. But we start small. We start with a round that's the same size you would raise from a growth round, but you build discipline, you build trust with investors, and then you might be ready to uplist. That's what we did with Chelly Group. We double listed a few years after their first listing on Frankfurt. That's how we tapped into a new pool of investors, and then we went the next way, listing on Cetra, where all of the institutional investors in Europe go to as a venue. And so, you know, a billion-dollar company is not made just from access, of course. You need to perform, you need to still go to investor days. You don't stop talking to investors once you go public. You actually have to talk to them all the time. It's just a different way of approaching it, and it's also less specific, because a lot of investors, when you get to those growth stages, are strategic investors. They have a lot of opinions about where your company should go, whilst public companies are able to execute their vision as long as it's a good one and the public supports it.
So can I ask you this, because it's not so, people are not so familiar with this model. Is it more scary for founders? Because
in the first...
or not?
When we first introduce it as a concept, of course, it's more scary. When we talk with companies that are really into their growth stage already, so let's say companies upwards of 10 million euros annual revenue, these companies are not so much scared because they already know that they're building something that they believe will be their legacy. So it's actually the only way for them to go further, because the alternative is private equity funds that may or may not like your business and that may or may not have your vision. And once these players come in, it's basically their vision or no vision.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that first take. Now I will turn to Stoyan Nedin, who represents Vitusha Ventures. Stoyan, what are you looking for now with the new fund? First, congratulations on launching this second, Vitusha Ventures 2, is it? So what you will be looking for, what in your view is trendy right now, and what it's worth actually working on in terms of enterprises, startups?
Thank you, Milena. Yes, so we started investing with our second fund, Vitusha Ventures 2, and we plan to invest in around 80 companies in the next 4 years. Early stage tickets between 100,000 euro and 1 million euro, but the stage of the companies would be very different. So a few of them would be at idea with very little product market fit, but most of them we would look for some validation, revenue, and unless you have invented something super unique, it's very unlikely that we invest before early traction and early clients.
You're, by the way, proving what we were just saying, that the rules of the game have been changing from vision much more to traction and validation, and wanting to show the facts to investors.
Thanks to AI.
Indeed, because what was a competitive advantage before, building a super sophisticated software that might have required genius programmers, a large tech team, millions of investment, now is really copyable. And what now counts, and of course it was still important before, but now it counts even more: access to market, ability to sell, ability to scale internationally. Of course, the soft skills that enable you to make strategic partnerships, to convince large corporate clients to be able to close deal, to scale sales and business development teams. These are the skills that would always be valid in business, and thankfully these are some of the skills that AI would hardly replace. In terms of trendiness, I personally have never been fond of trendy things. I didn't go for the crypto things, or now, of course, AI. The trendy element, I don't care about it. It's just.
So you are saying you are a sector agnostic, or more or less, or no?
No, more like I don't care what is hyped and what is not. Of course, hype can give you can create opportunities for the ones that can avoid them and see them. So if everyone is investing in AI, maybe they undervalued something that's just a regular production company that nobody wants to invest. But AI is the huge enabler and game changer. I don't want to say at all that it's a hype, but just looking for it just for the buzzword, it just doesn't make sense. It's just something that any smart company should use in order to boost their efficiency, to scale their operations in terms of product development, sales, and anything. So we are sector agnostic. We are open to anything that can scale. Of course, proving that something that's hardware, that's basic production, or more of a brick and mortar boring businesses, that they can scale, it's harder, but it doesn't mean that it's not doable. I mean, your Shell is an example of a hardware business that of course can scale, and many businesses that are brick and mortar can scale. Of course, you need to prove us that there are no bottlenecks. And most importantly, we're looking for founders that can generate as much proof that there is a big enough product, big enough market, and that they have big enough dreams and capabilities to scale and sell this product and service internationally.
Well, thank you for that. So it looks like when are you planning to? When are you start investing?
We have started. We have contracted quite a few deals, and we plan to announce them in less than a month.
Oh, okay. So
more than 10 deals that we have prepared for in the last year.
Already, okay. Yeah. And so I think among those that are here or online listening, you're open for business, as you were saying.
We are definitely, we have been open for business.
And you might soon finish the money with this pace that you're going. Okay.
We'll be around for 4 more years, so you don't need to queue. There is enough for everyone, and many other funds are coming. And
other
I see
opportunities.
My colleagues here from Innovation Capital in the face of Mitko.
Yes. Thank you for that. We will come back to you. Now I would like to ask Maria Nenkova to share what are the opportunities, how are you becoming actually a player on this market, how are you supporting entrepreneurs, and what would be the thing that would make them also successful applicants for the funding that you are providing?
First of all, thank you for giving me the floor, and thank you for the invite. I am, let's say, an outlier, because our initiative doesn't hand you the money directly as the colleagues do. We are someone that provides you with the expertise to get those money. We provide you with the expertise to go seek public funding, like Euro programs, like the national programs that will provide you with funds and grants to raise your idea to the next level, or even to start, because before you start running, you first need to learn how to walk. Also, the Digital Innovation Hub ecosystem in Europe is supposed to act as a one-stop shop. We are supposed to basically grab you to the hand, give you the testing infrastructure for you as amazing people to test your idea and see if it works without investing first in all the expensive manufacturing equipment that will tank your budget. To, at the end, see that it doesn't work, because it looks good on paper, but it doesn't work on practice. Next, we are here to provide you with trainings. We are here to provide you with lectures, trainings, workshops by the cutting-edge professionals in their work field, in their sector. And you get those for free. We are here to provide you with the networking, to meet your VCs as your best possible partners to grow, and to also meet the partners that will give you the hard no, but with the great feedback, as Christine said. And in the end, we are here to basically help you write your best, amazing, winning proposal for that funding opportunity that will give you the stepping stone before you are the $10 million company that will grab her attention and she will never let you go. The thing is that for startups, we need to be fair. The public funding, especially the national funding, is a bit sparse at the moment. It's gonna change, but at the moment, that's the situation. Europe is catching up. They have established that the founders, the new blood, the new ideas are the ones that are gonna be the driving force from now on. So what we propose and what we provide to you as the next innovators, next sectorial leaders, is to give you the advice you need, the access to those people if you don't know who to call, the advice how to make your pitch so they won't be able to walk away from you, and then to link you with even the other hubs in Europe, because the hubs are focused on a certain area. Ours is the automotive sector, the dual use, the space, but it's more of the mechanical stuff. If you want to go to healthcare, if you are interested in some other sectors, we can connect you to those people. We can provide you with the guidance to get their documents for you to be accepted in their ecosystem. And for most of this, you don't pay anything. It's provided by the government for you. So yes, unlike
this sounds too good to be true somehow. Sorry, I'm just challenging. Yes,
it's a lot of
challenging that you say a little bit more on the concept, and because people are not aware, and also how quickly do you get access to that? What is the process?
Well, the process, we are trying to make it streamlined and direct, but as everything that involves a government, a funding program, and the guidelines, it has a lot of paperwork. For the most part, we guide through the paperwork as well, because it doesn't help anyone if you provide us with this much of paper that we need to return to you 3 times.
So in a way, this is the model that is becoming a little bit more topical in Europe, and it is that you need to work within an ecosystem or a certain, let's say, stakeholder group, which is supporting you in the market access, in the product development, in the also registration and some of the work that you need to do, so that you are not on your own as a company, right, on the market.
Basically,
and this is what this digital innovation hub ecosystems are providing for you. I mean, providing for founders in terms of opportunities and additional help, support.
Yeah, our raison d'être, to say the least, is to give you the chance to be you, to be the innovators, to be the business people, to make your idea land in the market, to land in front of the investors, to grow. Our part is to help you navigate those winding streets and even undergrounds of public funding, VCs, to read the legalese, basically.
And if one is to find you, how does one approach such an opportunity from the founders?
Every European Innovation Hub, they have a web page. On that web page, there are either forms that you can fill or our contact information for the team that will help you in any way they can. Also, the digital innovation hubs are projects built by different partners. If you know one of the partners in the hub, they're your gateway even faster to get all the other ones involved.
And I think you don't necessarily need to know. You can approach them. This is what you're saying. If you've been, if you approach either the central point or any of the partners, you should be able to get to that information, to get to the network. This is what I'm hearing.
Every partner will be more than happy to help you, to guide you, to provide you even with the things that are still not on the market, but we have heard the whispers of them. And we can even help you get them interested. We can connect you with them if you don't know how to do it.
All right, I think this is great for a start. Now I would like to give the floor to Kostadin Mikhailov, who is a founder of Bodyguard. I remember them from the startup competition of 2 years ago when we were giving them the award, and now they are up and running. So Kostadin, can you share with us what was this magical trick that you did? How did you make it?
It was consistency.
Actually, to suggest what was your approach to getting funding and investment, a bit of your story. What was your biggest surprise actually in getting this money? Let's hear.
Thank you so much for the invitation, first of all. I'm really happy to be here surrounded by a lot of VC funds and people who want to invest in Bulgarian companies. I'm feeling really special because I'm the only startup founder. So Elena,
on this panel.
On this panel, yeah, of course. So Elena Peneva pretty much knows how we began. Basically 2.5 years ago, the first time when I was pitching was on this stage. And I'm really happy that this time I'm not pitching, I'm part of the speakers. I'm definitely, who knows, yeah, right.
You might be pitching for more money, right?
Yeah, so, yeah, let me tell you a little bit more about how Bodyguard began and where we're right now. So, in the end of 2023, we started our platform, and our goal was to help every pet owner find a reliable and trustworthy pet sitter all around Bulgaria. So at first, we started with a couple of people in Sofia who made dog walks, cat visits, and pet boarding. And I thought myself that this is not a really scalable model by having people full-time in the company. So I made a decision with my co-founder, of course, to create a marketplace which gives the opportunity for pet sitters to provide these services depending on their own schedule. So I started with this idea. I went to Bulgarian Youth Startup competition, and we eventually won. And since then, we thought ourselves, all right, we won this competition, the funds will definitely come to us and provide us investment. But that's not the case. These were the years 2024 and 2025 when most of the VC funds in Bulgaria didn't have enough funds in order to invest in companies. And we were one of the lucky guys who didn't receive an investment from them. Maybe I think that this was the definitely good thing to happen, because that made us even more consistent and to believe even more in what we want to achieve, because I saw a lot of friends and a lot of founders who raised really fast, and the funds vanished within a couple of months. And I'm really thankful that we had to go through these 2 years with our muscles in order to create the company which we have right now. We're already operating in Malta. In the next couple of years, in the next couple of months, we will be launching in one other country, which is a secret. So we have more than 800 pet sitters located in Bulgaria and more than 150 in Malta. And I'm really thankful not only to the Best Youth Startup competition, but to all people, especially Stoyan Nedin, who is not supporting us with funds, but he is always a person who can help us in mentoring. I have been part of Founder Institute, who is an accelerator program and helps startups like us in order to make our business model good enough and to have adequate feedback received real time. So we didn't have VC funding, but I made the decision to go to the other path, which is crowdfunding. I gave the opportunity to our pet sitters and our pet owners to become shareholders of the company by making an investment, and by this way we were able to reach 250,000 euro in investment in the end of last year. So right now we are 6 months already through our runway. We have 12 months more, 12 months still, and I'm really glad that we have not only pet owners and pet sitters, but also angel investors who have a lot of expertise and experience in scaling companies abroad. And I think that if you're a startup founder and you want to have a person, if you want to have funds invested in your company, don't think only about the funding, think also about the people who will be gathered around you, because these are the people who will help you not only scale the company, but also self-develop yourself. That's my point of view.
Well, thank you very much for this perspective and also for sharing what works for you. I have a couple of questions. Do you think that founders now need to spend more time fundraising than, or some of the founders at different stages spend more time fundraising than actually building the company? Is this a challenge?
I would definitely say that they should build the company and start earning revenue and traction and customers, because this would be the most important thing for VCs to see, instead of just wasting time sending cold emails and searching for a warm welcome through these networking events, because it's definitely different to meet and greet a VC fund on day one when you don't have anything, than rather 60 days after that, when you have at least 50
even 60 is short.
Yeah.
If you ask me, too short.
When you have at least a couple of people who are already looking to pay for the service which you provide.
Yes, and thank you for the heads up on the point that our company, The Edge, is running an accelerator, which is called Beyond, and we have seen over and over again that without building the team, and what an accelerator helps you do, and without also validating, pivoting on the model, and also building your network of partnerships, you are not good enough to go get the money, because as we heard, the market is already, I mean, the investors are already saying there is much more need for traction, for value, than showing only vision, and there is a need for execution before you can prove that you're worthy of taking up the big, let's say, capital instead of ahead of you. So I have a question for all of you here. I wanted to ask, where do you think we are heading? Is AI going to really change the rules of the game also for all of the investment landscape? Stoyan somewhat touched this topic, saying, you know, we're not going to be looking only for AI as the core area of work, but definitely AI is changing what everyone is expecting to do, and is also increasing the speed with which things are happening. So what is your take? Is AI going to be like the mainstream platform on which almost any business will be built, or not? This is kind of a provocative, maybe provocative in the sense, want to get your insights about this.
Definitely, if you want to have a competitive advantage, you should make use of the new technologies. I mean, in the automation processes and in the AI. Our fund is looking at the human side of things. You know, what people do at work, how to become more efficient and bring more value to the enterprise by automating repetitive tasks. And that's why we are looking at the robotization and the automation industries and what they do in their leisure times. Again, this has very little to do with with the AI, but in the era of information technologies, of course, leisure can be looked at even in the way people take care of themselves, how they eat, how they spend time for sports, and the new technologies also play a role there with the biotechnologies, with all the information and things that are brought to the everyday life with the IoT to the humans to help them spend their time at home and be healthy. Yeah, I'm definitely convinced that the new technologies will play a crucial role. It should not be overexposed. It should not be something like hyped, or because it's not. It's if we do that, it's gonna be stupid. I mean, we should look at what it brings actually as value to us people and to the enterprises, how they become more efficient and how they streamline processes and make them more profitable for the organizations.
Well, thank you for that. I'll wait. Maybe Christina? Yeah.
Yeah, what I can say is part of the reason that you see most investors looking for companies that already have some traction, already a client base, even be it small, meaning you have a fully ready, at least an MVP that can solve the problem that you're out to go to, is because of, unfortunately, AI. So that's a plus and a minus for people that are adapting well. That's a really good plus. They no longer have to pay exorbitant amounts to engineers to get to MVP point. But on the flip side, you also don't get the same funding pre-revenue that you used to. And then if we look at AI as a sector, which I don't believe in, honestly, but if we look at AI as a hype word, about 40% of funding is going toward companies that claim to be AI. And that means that non-AI founders are left with a smaller pool. So that's another implication. That doesn't mean that you need to stuff AI in every single slide on your PowerPoint deck or Canva deck. It means that you need to be strategic in where you explain on how you're going to leverage AI, and don't expect that anyone is going to be impressed by the fact that you're leveraging AI. It's a base at this point. But what we need to be is responsible. We're not at AGI yet. So let's stay responsible, stay cognizant of what's possible and what isn't yet. I'm personally bullish on non-AI founders, but not in the sense that they don't use AI, but in the sense that they don't build their company around AI.
I think we're going to come up with a conclusion. I was waiting to hear from all of you, because I also have my take on this. So Jan, what is your take?
Well, AI is a total game changer, not just for companies, but even more for us, because you, as a startup or as a business, you need to figure out what would sell this year, what clients would want this year. While we, as venture capital funds, we need to figure out what kind of exits could be done in 5 or 10 years, and first being able to predict what wouldn't be copyable, easily replicable in the few years ahead is totally almost impossible. in terms of software, because usually, you know, venture capital funds were mostly investing in SaaS, in B2B SaaS, which was like businesses that sell subscription softwares to other businesses. And now this becomes such a commodity to produce, so easy to produce with AI, that it's very difficult to bet on a software as a service business that it's going to be valid in 6-7 years. And
a lot of, I mean, startups do not have the capacity to compete with the big players who are investing so much into all of this AI capabilities, let's say.
Yes. And also, apart from that, we need to be able to predict what kind of basic functionality would be not in ChatGPT 6 or 7, but in ChatGPT 10 or 15, which would be like in 5, 6, 10 years, which obviously is impossible. But we need to think about these unknown unknowns. So our game has changed a lot, and certain things would be just that were okay investments a few years ago would be just impossible to predict, too risky, and would not be worth our bet, even though they might be valid ideas this year. But just the threat of AI engines cannibalizing these businesses would be too risky for us. And right now we're actually about to decline a few businesses that are like this. They're making hundreds of thousands of revenues, but just because we can see behind the corner the threat of this such kind of businesses and such kind of services driven and enabled by AI to be really commoditized, that's why we're not going to invest in them.
Yes, thank you. I don't know if somebody else wants to say something. Okay, Maria, quickly.
The Maxima stays. AI won't take your job, but someone that masters AI will.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you need to know your stuff first. AI won't come up with the winning idea without you given even a minor input. Because if the AI can figure it out, everyone that prompts the AI will be able to get your idea from under you. And this is something that the Euro Commission has already seen. They, in every info day, every guidance they have for applications, they say, we know you use AI. We are aware of this. We know most of the swap you cover in your application that has the big words, etc., is generated by AI. But if the major points, the crucial idea, what makes you special, unique, and you, is also generated by AI, well, that won't be funded, because that is not your value. It's something that the algorithm came up with.
Yes. So thank you for this. I wanted that we touch upon this topic simply because everyone is talking about it, and it seems to be another hype that AI is the area to invest. But as we heard from everybody, the thing that will define your startup in the coming years is not going to be the latest AI technology, because it's very unlikely that anyone, I mean, that we will be able to compete in such a way with the big giants and the ones that have been investing much longer and earlier in terms of markets, opportunities, and also expertise and capability, because it's also about capability. And
I just want to add, Milena, like we're all using and are enabled by mobile phones and 5G. It doesn't mean that we should invest in mobile phones and 5G, right?
Exactly. That's the point. That to me also AI, the only AI, let's say, bigger investment would be in some disruptions that will be made by probably bigger players or some companies that are around these developed markets. And even if there is, the bet is 1 to, I don't know, 1,000 here or even more so. So it's more to perceive this technology as something that will be the basis for building future faster products, and also even digital twins or some other ways to test and validate your products or services, and then to really think what will make your companies stand out and successful in this new world where this technology is also existing parallel to the rest of the mobile or other technologies, as Stoyan pointed out. So in closing, one sentence from all of you, in the next 3 to 5 years, what will define a successful company? Where should everyone be looking for? Whoever is ready.
I wish I could tell in one sentence.
Or in one
what
word.
What we really want to see in a successful company is a team that can work together and produce results.
Great.
That's
yeah.
it.
People.
Well, for us, it's also, of course, people. It's grit and resilience, because none of the shiny success stories you see in the media came easy. No one had it easy, I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. Stoyan, for you?
I would definitely agree. It's the perseverance. It's what actually enabled you to succeed, because it is a very difficult business, and it was impressive back then to me, even though we were not in investment period anymore. But it is these qualities that you just chase your dream. You wake up, you fall to sleep with the idea of getting partners, clients, making it work with or without money. You know, if the red flag that we don't want to see is we're waiting for funding so that it happens, and the opposite is I'm making it happen. Are you in, or we're gonna figure out a way for it to happen? So this kind of founders is what we will be looking for.
So, Costa, you have something to?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
I always like to speak to people who would like to or already have startups already working. So be consistent and go all in, because if you have a full-time job and you want to do it part-time, you won't be hungry enough in order to make your business grow or to be the next unicorn. So you have to dive in if you want to earn all the good things.
Maria, yes.
Thank you for the opportunity to finish up those amazing points. Of course, first and foremost, people. AI can't do anything without the people behind it. And yes, you need to be hungry, but you also need to look everywhere, not to be afraid to ask. There are always opportunities, even if you don't see them on the first glance.
Thank you. I will just add, have the guts and the courage to have the spirit to continue, okay, and get up after falling. So thank you all. I hope this was a helpful and exciting panel to be part of, and look forward to seeing you in presenting your ideas and standing behind them. Thank you.
Thank you. You can leave the mics on the table. Do we have a photographer? I think she's filming video. Are you filming video? Yes, she's filming for Devin, for one of our sponsors. But you can look at the camera. Okay, thank you. While they're sitting down, no, we don't have time, sorry. While they're sitting down, I want to ask you a question, very important question. What is a good founder to you? Let me tell you that for me, Kosio is a good founder because I told him, you have a two marketplace. Focus on one side of this marketplace, go viral, and start selling quickly on one of the sites. 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks later, they were viral on TikTok, and they managed to onboard more than 100 clients on the site that they were focusing on. Gary from Lamon, who is somewhere in the hall, yeah, is another example of that, because I told her, Gary, you have a B2B startup, girl. You have to be very active on LinkedIn. And she said, you know what she said? Oh, Elena, I hate LinkedIn. And I said, okay, you know, whatever. 2 weeks later, she started posting on LinkedIn. She's killing it. Please follow her, because they've built an audience and they've built a following and they've built conversations on LinkedIn. And like, to me, this is it. Dimitar there, we meet, and I told him, meet Kudyut. In 2 days, there is an event, and the 3 biggest communities in your field, the 3 biggest founders of communities in your field, they are going to be on this event. Go to the event, pitch them. He went, he pitched them. 1 month later, he has 400 sales of his startup before actually having an entity, a legal entity. So, guys, the next startup and the next speaker you will see on stage is such a founder. How do I know? Of course, she was in my program, but also we were together, a mentee and a mentor in the Bridge and BESCO program. And when I entered the program, I chose only the one startup that needed marketing. That was I didn't know her, I didn't know what she does. I was very familiar with her service. And let me tell you why she has been chosen to give this lecture. We started the program. The first session that we had, I told her, you need to start selling. They are, mind you, before MVP. They don't have a product at all. So I tell her, you know, you need to start selling. The next session, she comes with a 200-person list, and she started selling, and she has 10 people in the pipeline for sales. The next session, I tell her, you know, it's good for us to have a little PRs to help you with sales. Over the 3 months that we have been working together, she has been in a Forbes event, in a Capital event. She started working with Sofia municipality. She was in the biggest event in Plovdiv for her field. Then she was in media. Then she was in podcast. And then all of a sudden, this girl, for these 3 months, achieved something that I rarely see in very well-funded startups and big companies with millions of euro of turnover. She did it for 3 months. And in these 3 months, we had the war. Her co-founder was sick. Her baby and her was in the hospital. You know, so speaking about resilience, I think that one of the people who should really say very much, and mind you, she's before MVP. She doesn't have a product yet. They're building it in a very scientific way in a deep tech startup, and also she has another business. So it's a real pleasure for me to introduce you to my mentee, who is already like in a red color. Yes, please join me on stage for the next panel. Good luck.
Thank you. Tonight I'm just going to share a little bit my other startup that it's not anymore a startup, and what is the understanding that I have from it. So imagine with me this moment, the moment that the clients that you've been chasing for months, or the investor finally picks up the phone and says yes. Then your team delivered the result perfectly. You win an award that actually matters to you. Can we see the screen? Everyone takes a photo and write nice messages about you online. But no one takes the photo at 4 a.m. in the middle of the night when you're with eyes wide open, full of stress and doubting yourself. Tonight I'm here to talk about this moment. 4.8% of businesses founded in 2018 in Bulgaria are still functioning today. And this is an article that I read last week, and I think, what was the road that brought me here? Because my first company, Botanic Lab, is one of these statistics. And I'm one of the founders that is still here for now, I don't know for how long. And before I continue, let me ask you a question. How many of you here are already having a business or entrepreneur journey? Can you raise your hand? Great, I can see at least 50% of the audience. And can you tell me how many of you wants to have a business on their own? Can you raise your hand? Okay, so it's good because I'm going to talk about these two groups. For the first one, the majority, it's for you because I have a question for you in the end. And for the second group is to see what is in front of you. So tonight I'm going to share 3 things. And they are not about success, it's quite the opposite, the other side, that you sign a contract but it's not written in there. So the first part is about people. When you start to have a business, you have business plan, you know what will be the money stream, and eventually you start hiring people. Maybe imagine yourself standing in front of them saying smart things, but the reality is quite different. At least 50% of your time at some point will be dedicated to who wants what, why they want it, and how to make everyone feels okay while still you're building your startup or your service. Then will come the day when your first employee, the most favorite one, your inner circle friend, will decide to leave. And this breaks your heart because you think that with the person that you spend 10 to 12 hours a day is some kind of family because you spend most of your time with him despite your husband. And you can do anything to make them stay because they have plans for their lives also. Then we have time when you have to fire someone for the first time. And it is painful, but it's necessary. In my case, was a person that has negative attitude. So we sat down, make the conversation, and I made a call. I ripped the band, and this person was released. And on that day, I realized something important, that even if I want to do my best, even if I want to be the best employer, I became someone else's villain in his story. And this is something that you are not prepared when you start a business. The second part is yourself. There are things that I will never do to another person in my team or to another human being. And here I am. Several months ago, my 2-year-old is ill. She has a high temperature and breathing problems. So we went into the hospital. They said that we have to stay there for 3 days. But on the second day, I have very important meeting. I tried to reschedule it, tried to send someone else, but there were too many people involved in this situation and too many deadlines that I have to go on my own. So I left my 2 years in the hospital, lying in her bed, knowing that she needed me, but still got on my car. I went to the meeting went well, the customer was satisfied, and objectively, this was the right decision. But on the way back, I was thinking, is it going to be always like this? And I realized that there are things that I will never ask for someone else, but still, I ask myself doing it. And the third story is about your head. It is April 2020. We are all at our homes. It's COVID, we are scared about our health, about our loved ones, about what is coming. And it's hard for all of us. But while my friends calling me and said how happy they are that they don't have to travel to work or see this annoying coworker, all of us covered with toilet paper, I was on quite the opposite side. The ones that were trying to sell things that are unsellable. Interior landscaping for the offices. So, the problem was that I have to earn the money, earn the salaries for my team, and not for the next year, for the next month. And this gives me a lot of sense of stress. Then the lockdown was over, came the war in Ukraine. At first I was feeling so sorry about the people there and what will happen, but then I started to think about the economics, the prices, what will happen with the whole situation in Europe, and I started to feel pity about myself for thinking this way. But because you're an entrepreneur and people are relying on you, you have to switch your mindset. Then the inflation comes, the AI, everything became faster, more complicated, and the problem was that things are not getting simple. Actually, they're more complicated and add another and other things to the table. And the luxury and the most precious time that I understand that I lost is not my free time, but the luxury to have quiet mind and stand for 10 minutes just not thinking about anything and not thinking what should be my next step. And maybe you're wondering what are the common between all of these three stories. And it's that I didn't choose them, they come with the way. So recently I read a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And there is a simple question that is really hard to answer. What pain do you want in your life? The writer has very interesting concept that the dream that you have comes with a price and in a package with baggage. And the baggage can be anything. It can be stress, lack of money, lack of sleep, you name it. So while I was preparing for tonight, I was thinking, what are my pains and what helps me to go through them? And I understand that this is the joy in the process, not the stage, not the applause, not the photographs, but simple enjoying what you're doing. Because doing business is a beautiful thing. It really is. But if you write 3 things that you will not compromise, just be sure that the entrepreneur journey will put you face to face with all 3 of them. And tonight I have a question for you. And the question is your why strong enough to conquer any business obstacle, any losses, and any deep personal price that you're going to pay? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we have 15 minutes of break. So go take a walk, have a drink, and then we move on to the, for me, most important panel, because it's my panel, but it's about sales. So guys, you heard too many people say it. If you cannot sell right now at this economy, at this startup, at this point of history, nothing else really matters. So come back in 15 minutes. This is at 8 o'clock, 8:05. Can I have your attention, please? I will not ask the real Slim Shady to stand up. I will, though, invite on stage the speakers on the next panel.
Hello, Sofia. My name is Georg Dimitrov, and I'm currently a 9th grader. That, however, doesn't stop me from appearing on stage today as an announcer for the sales panel. But even only as an announcer, I have still challenged myself to be here in front of everybody, meet all of these successful people, and try to get closer to my main goal, that being to start a startup myself in the near future. Who knows, you might even see me in the future as the speaker, not only as an announcer. You might even, what I'm trying to say is, as cliche as it sounds, go follow your dreams. It is never too late, nor too early. Thank you. Now let's take a look at the sales panel for today. First, let's all welcome the moderator, Elena Peneva from Bright Mojo. Thank you. Now, let me invite the speakers. First, Ivailo Ivanov from Founder Institute. Kasimir Kehailov from ODC Ventures. And last, but certainly not least, Nadia Krsteva from ATN Europe. Thank you and enjoy. Does anybody need a microphone?
Hello. I have written something which I believe is very much true, but we will see, because we started going on stage, and we, among us, have agreed to disagree on stage. But let's see. Some decades ago, the differentiator between great startups was, I have a sick idea and I'm the only one who can execute it, right? So, before a decade ago, it was, I have a better product than anyone else and the team that can execute it. Today it is, I have a great product, I can raise quickly, I have a GTM advantage, that I can reach all clients, I can go to investors 10 times faster than any competition. You know, something is a little bit different right now, and you heard it in the investment panel. And the truth is that maybe we are in the time where building a great product might not be the greatest advantage. Do you agree? I think I agree. So, I don't know what is the mode these days. Maybe it hasn't changed, maybe it has changed. But for sure, you have to have a good insight into the industry, you have to have an understanding about the industry, you have to have a hidden advantage and in the GTM strategy, and you have to, in the same time, build trust, go out there, sell, be active, be resilient, be, you know, all the things that you heard from investors that they expect you to be. So in this panel, we have three very cool people that will speak about this hidden advantage from three very different perspectives. The one from the one of an investor, of an accelerator that helps startup accelerate, and the one of a person that is seasoned in B2B sales, actually the person that does the sales internationally. So I'm starting with a question to each of them. I will give you a statistic about the first question. The latest Y Combinator cohorts show that the majority of startups, vast majority, 80+%, are now AI-first companies. And Ivailo is the director for Eastern and Central Europe of the biggest accelerator in the world, Founder Institute. Can you share more about what you are seeing inside your cohorts when everyone is AI native and AI first? What is the differentiator you're looking for?
Okay. First of all, we always knew that the founders are the key. Now everybody else knows it. Today, we are thinking about AI native, AI first, why not AI only? Today, we believe that the next billion-dollar company would be something like one co-founder, maybe two co-founders, maybe three co-founders part-time, so they can play while the AI does all the work. And it's not just me saying it, the big venture capital guys are looking in this direction. Sequoia, Y Combinator, etc. Founder Institute is one of the largest startup accelerators in the world in the pre-seed stage. This place where you are between your idea and your first meaningful investment. And we are in more than 100 countries, more than 200 cities all over the world, really. And now we face the question, what is important? Because the idea, not so much. Funding, available. Technology, not so much. We came down to the conclusion that the founder is key. And what we did about it is that we created a psychometrics test, like 10 years ago. We hired the top scientists in the world. We gave them the data, and we did this test 200,000 times all over the world. And now we have the data. We are the only ones, by the way, in the world. And the data shows, without any doubt, good founders are everywhere. There is no big difference between what you guys have here and what those guys in the US have in the Silicon Valley, or in the UK, or in Nigeria. There is something else. What is it? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's sales.
I want to find out. I don't know. I don't know about you. We actually started with Cosio, who just told us what is happening at Sequoia and the other VCs. And most of them actually increasingly talk about the future where winners are vertical AI companies, startups with deep domain expertise. And I'm really happy that in this panel at the last moment we have Krasi Kehoyov with us. He's an ex-investment banker at Goldman Sachs and now a partner in an investment syndicate, Odyssey Ventures. And I mean, in this, they put money into ChatGPT and other such small companies like OpenAI. But also, for 10 years, he has been an angel investor. So what are you investing in today? And did your approach actually change?
Thanks a lot. Well, the approach does change. I've been an angel investor since 2014. Back then, I was looking more at more consumer-facing companies. Maybe something that's like, I don't know. You order every month like ingredients to make your own cocktail at home, like stupid things like that. I've invested in companies like this. Invested in fintechs. But obviously, AI is going to change the world, and the question is, what type of companies and where is the, as Ivo was saying earlier, where is the moat? And you have great people in any geography, but then obviously the US has something special. Maybe it's the community, maybe it's the, I don't know, like multiple decades of knowledge and of capital that gets passed on to the next generation. There's a lot there. Obviously, how you attract customers, and I think in the US also you have the perspective, and sorry, I'm running away from your initial question, but we're more and more focused now on companies that are more US focused. Just because it's a great first market to develop your product. I mean, customers in the US are the first to try out new things, whether it's a business customer or like a end client. In terms of what we look to invest in, you cannot avoid AI. You don't have to be an AI first company, but you definitely need to be very good at using AI as the founding team or like deploying it within what you're building. Obviously you need to be smart and how should I say this, multidisciplinary in your approach. Now you can be great at sales, you can be great at in fundraising or in finance, but being able to quickly adopt AI and then learn about the other domains and grow the company with a smaller team, I think is going to be the advantage for the next decade.
Thank you. And moving on to the third person on stage, but not the least, because she's the boss, as I said, because she's organizing Sofia, not Sofia, but the Sofia edition of Startup Europe Week. Applause for Nadia. So Nadia, you have extensive experience in sales across multiple markets, and today it feels like startups can no longer afford the strategy. We'll try it in Bulgaria, then go to the Balkan countries, then we'll try eventually Europe, and then maybe over some years we'll try the US. As you heard, the investors want US first, but maybe global first. So what do you think is the definition, and what is defining success on multiple markets?
So first I'm going to give you a little bit background about me so you can understand who is giving you some advices. I've been working in sales for 7 years, and I've been managing many markets in Europe and beyond. I'm responsible for the French, Italian, UK markets, as well as Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. I've been responsible for many other markets before, and I've been traveling a lot in my territories. I'm working in the outdoor sector for a manufacturer that produces products. So for me, to answer the question, sales is more about understanding, trust, and relevance and timing. Markets are quite diverse culturally, and all size fits one size fits all approach is no longer relevant. The market started to change, and lately we see that the transformation is accelerated from COVID. So the market now it's much more proactive, and businesses that couldn't manage to adapt, they either closed or stay on the business but are struggling to survive. Today, the customer is overwhelmed from the offering from everywhere. The market is quite aggressive. So the sales, the textbook sales approach is no longer relevant, and the textbook salesperson, that is the pushy person to close the deal, it's not like what we read in the books. It works, but not really, because actually it's the personality that attracts people, and people buy from people. They no longer buy from other companies. And sales as a personality is extremely important. I've been working with salespeople in different countries. I've been doing trainings to them, and based on, like, if we speak about international scale, not every personality can fit all the markets. Speaking about startups, if they want to go global, they really need to think about who is going to be the salesperson, and really, really try to understand the markets, because the markets have their own culture. For some markets, the attention to detail, as France, it's so important, more important than the price. In other markets like UK, price is the most important, but everything is about relationship. And so as keys of successful sales, if I can mention some, are first, and very for me it's the most important thing, is build relationships with your customers, be present on the market, be in direct contact with the customers. If there are some trade shows in some field, go there, try to travel, try to visit clients. Don't focus a lot on cold calling. It's very important, it's really important in the very beginning, but it's not the one that can make the miracle. Try to truly understand the key players on the market. This will maximize your market presence. It's very important to understand who are the important buyers before go deeper, and be reliable, and understand that the sales is a cycle. Speaking about B2B, because I'm working in B2B only, once the sales is a case, it's actually just starting. You need to be reliable to ensure the after-sales service to be there, because in the end people like to be easy, and you need to make their life easy. Understand your product so you can explain it to 14 years person, and then don't underestimate the marketing. Sales and marketing, they are very important, and they need to work in symbiosis. And there are many other factors, but I selected those as the most important ones.
I guess it's very variable from industry to industry, because, you know, in some of the digital industries and in tech, they say, go global. And you don't need sales in each country. But then again, some of the biggest unicorns right now that we know do have exactly sales offices in each country, right? Do you have something to add, or should we go to the next?
Yeah, sure. Basically, this is my personal opinion. So if you want to hold it against me personally. I hate it when people say, I'm going to start locally here in Bulgaria, and then I go and conquer the world. This is the logic. When I'm here selling something and competing on a small market, this means I'm competing with weak competition, with a relatively poor customer, and in an operations environment that is kind of local. And even if I win here, and even if I make money and it all works out really well, and then I jump to the US market. Competition is fierce, very strong. The buyer is different, and the operations environment is also different. So at the best case scenario, I have some sort of traction that I can show off with, or I get a little bit of money that I can spend, but I'm basically starting from zero at this new big market. So I would guess that people do this because they feel more comfortable starting locally. That's uncomfortable to hear, that's uncomfortable to admit, but I firmly believe that not going and jumping directly in the deep sea with the big fishes, with the big sharks, is more about your confidence and less about anything else. Everything else is a rational explanation of why you don't want to do it. Again, that's my personal opinion, and it's specifically about those guys that are mostly digital and that want to scale and conquer the world. Obviously, if you're building a factory, it's not the same. But those are my 2 cents, 5 stinkies on that.
Thank you. Over the last year, I have consulted 100 startups, and in the same time, I mean, pro bono. So this was my hobby. And in the same time, I worked with companies with a cumulative, that very strong word, turnover of about 100 million. And to me, simplifying this, the difference between those two groups is exactly the sales, really. The ability to sell, the ability to start a company and sell fast and find money fast. And I've came across a few problems in the sales that I would like to share with you and discuss with the people on stage. Deep domain understanding. Some people start a startup and they don't know shit about, sorry, should I say shit on stage? Maybe. They don't know anything about what they're doing. Others have very good domain knowledge, but they don't know shit about building a startup. And they don't even try to find out how it is done. They don't go to an accelerator, they don't watch a video, they just decide that because they have domain knowledge, they can just go to market, which of course is a disaster. Some of them don't know how to build credibility, trust, and how to actually, let's say, no, it's not networking, but it's actually building trust. Many people have the resources or have the knowledge, but they don't know how to continue as a founder because, for example, there have been a CTO or an investment banker or somewhere very high in the hierarchy of corporate structure, yeah, and as soon as they go out, they don't know, if they don't have this credibility given to them from a big corporation, they don't know how to build it themselves. And also, very, very often, they don't know about positioning, marketing, sales, they underestimate it. And of course, everybody in marketing thinks that marketing is the problem. There are people in the HR, they say, oh, for sure people are the problem. People on operations, you know what, if you don't build your operations in the beginning, whatever, to me, it really comes down to sales. What do you think?
I was just trying to help you with the microphone.
Okay, thank you.
No, really, the one and the only critical job of a founder, CEO, is go out there and sell. Sell something, sell whatever. Sell your idea on a napkin, on a piece of paper, without anything. And if you can't do that, there are 2 options. You're not the good CEO of a startup, or your idea sucks and it's unsellable. That's key. I mean, a lot of people I see, they just say, okay, I've built this great thing, I've invented this, I have this idea, I combined whatever knowledge there is, now I have it, and then I will hire somebody to sell for me. No. If you can't bring your first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 clients yourself, and convince them, make them believe in you before everything else, you're not good for the job. So sales in that first stage is critical. It's make it or break it time. So that's what I see.
This is a very classical advice. Do you think that most classical advice still applies nowadays? Because I see frustrated founders that definitely don't want to sell, and it's below them. Yes, but okay, what about do unscalable things? Does this still apply? Because how do you go to global market if you do unscalable things?
Okay, that's a tricky one, thank you. First, I did it myself. I created a dozen companies, bankrupted half of those. A couple of us I sold, and the couple still live, so they can pay the bill while I'm here talking to you. So I did it myself. That's what I'm trying to say. I know how difficult it is to say. I'm an introvert. I'm an engineer. I hate sales with my heart, wholeheartedly. So I know it's difficult. And this is a classical advice. And back to the other classical advice: do the things, don't scale. Well, you keep doing the things that don't scale. But those things are different today. They're different than they were yesterday because of AI and all the technical changes. But there are still things that don't scale that you need to do first in the very first stages. But they might not be the same. For example, you still need to build human-to-human relationship somehow. You can use digital tools and digital media for that, but still the relationship part is important. And the key here is, when you do a couple of times the thing that don't sell, you should find a way to quickly switch from the things that don't sell to turn them into a scalable model somehow. That's the key. Otherwise, you stay small, you never grow. And I believe that this is the key. A lot of people can do the first part, a lot of people can do the second part, but combining those and making the switch, that's difficult. At least I'm not very good at that, and I don't see that happening very often.
Krasi, is it true that investors now evaluate teams primarily based on their potential for fast market access?
Is it true that investors now what?
Now evaluate teams primarily on their fast market access ability?
No, not necessarily. We actually invested in December in a company that I know is just going to be a research lab for many years, but I just see the long-term potential. Now, would that be 80% of my portfolio? No. So yes, I mean, in general, I want to see like the fast, moving company that can quickly scale. Like we also invested in Lovable, which is one of the fastest growing companies. So, I mean, as an investor, does it preclude me from investing if it's not going to be fast to market? No, but it's important to actually see the vision. And if I can elaborate, because I already answered your quick question, I think that the best, like the first salesperson in a company is obviously the founder. You need to sell your mission. You need to sell to the rest of your co-founder, to the rest of the team, the idea why you're building this company. And if you sell it well enough, your whole team becomes salespeople for the mission, for the company, for what you're building. And to me, and I'm not a salesperson, the best salesperson I know is my mother. And now that I'm on this panel, we're discussing this, I realize from my point of view, what makes a great salesperson is that you sell without, I mean, you have a bunch of, techniques and skills that you apply as a salesperson that you can apply to any product or service. But really, you're a demolition expert. You demolish in the other person, in the person that you're selling to, all the reasons they're willing to say no to you. And sometimes it's a super easy product to sell. Like if you're in the desert and you're selling a bottle of water, you don't need to sell it. It sells itself. But very often it's about knowing the other person, what their actual needs are, and not like forcing them, oh, this is, it fits. If it doesn't fit, it's not going to work. So you really understanding your customer, and obviously companies do segmentation. You have different types of customers. This is a sales expert in this particular vertical. And then you try to apply all the things. Oh, we know these types of customers. This is what their needs are. And the best salesperson actually really feels it within themselves, okay, this is the problem that I'm really solving for them, I truly believe it. And when you talk about it, when we really know it, the product and the customer, you're a lot more capable of selling it. So sorry that I wanted to elaborate on the previous points, but I did answer your original question as well, I hope. Yep.
Yes, yes. Okay, moving on to the stage where you actually have a sales team. Nadia, what do you think the founder misunderstands about sales when they do have a sales team?
So first, I just want to have like to give my feedback about the previous question, because I've been thinking a lot about sales, and I don't consider myself a salesperson like the classical salesperson. So I believe the founders, they feel uncomfortable selling, but actually the real sale, it's not that you, it's like, from my side, I try to help my clients buy if they need it. If they don't need it, I don't push. I even had situations where people start to raise objections, and I did this a couple of times, and I don't do it as manipulation, but it's actually works. Like, if they start to raise a lot of objections, that means that they are interested, but they are not confident, and they expect for normal, like the regular sales approach, for person to start to answer, oh, this is going to be like this. This is, I say, okay, if you are not ready, don't do it, don't buy it. We'll meet again, and then this creates trust, and the trust is the key. To answer to your question, what founders misunderstand about sales, I believe that they definitely misunderstand that actually when they create a product, innovative, new product, they don't understand that the market is not waiting for them. And they need to be proactive. They need to be there, to do a lot of efforts. It's not easy to create a product and then to make it, to create reputation on it, and like to make it successful from the sales point. And it's about a lot of dedication, a lot of consistency, a lot of adaptability. So they need to constantly adapt and like be resilient. So yeah, this is what I think.
Thank you. Yes.
This is what I did. True story, real life. So I did the first thing. I was the CEO. I sold a couple of times. I kind of lifted the company, and then I hired the sales guys. So first thing I did, I hired local sales guys. I'm watching them, and they're not doing the things the way I do them. And they don't get the same KPIs the way I did. They are less effective than I am. So I say, okay, maybe that's not working. Let's fire those guys and hire somebody else. So I go there to Switzerland and hire some of the top fractional CSOs, whatever, really top guy. And again, he's not working my way. He's not really hitting my milestones the way I did it. And I'm not a sales guy. I'm a freaking engineer. So all of a sudden, I fired those guys as well. And I understood that it's me who is the problem, and I wasted a lot of money learning that, because I didn't know back then that sales is a profession, it's a process, there are rules, there are things that you have to do, and what I did in the beginning, willy-nilly just winging it, is not a process. And that's why you have to be very clear how you switch between the first phase, where you just go and lift it from here, from zero to something. And then the second phase, where there are people, professionals, who are actually gonna help you really grow. That was my mistake. Don't do it. It's very painful, expensive, and people laugh at you and point fingers and you, so don't do it.
I just realized that I had the two panels for startups and startup founders, the two panels that give startup founders what they hate, pitching and selling. Sorry guys, Nadia, I'm sorry.
Pitching can be fun.
Yeah, but everybody said that it's the most hateful thing they do. So, you know. Krasi, is it harder today
I
to...
heard the same about shots of tequila, by the way. The most ugly thing you can do. Anyway.
Challenge accepted. Is it harder today to raise funding with just a great product?
I would say so, yes. Nowadays it seems that it's a lot, I mean, from investors' perspective, I expect that building the product is not the toughest thing anymore. I mean, you have all these AI tools, and so you more and more feel like, okay, I mean, you do need a super deep tech CTO if you're doing something that's like super AI native, but overall, it feels to me that, you know, now that you have like Lovable and Replit and all these kinds of companies that help you quickly turn your idea into like a prototype and then hopefully quickly into a product, the product itself is like kind of becomes just the idea nowadays. So then it's about, okay, proving that there is actually a need for that product and that you can actually put it in people's hands and actually sell it, which obviously brings us to our panel right now. So yeah, I would say that now just having the product is not enough. It's actually about proving that you're the right team to bring this product to the market and that the market actually needs that product.
If I look, have we reached the point where products are being built faster than companies can reach this market and reach customers?
Yes, and I can argue that it's always been like that. But yeah, definitely. At the moment, especially if you're building some sort of software or some sort of digital solution, it's virtually 0 times 0 cost to build it. And then you just have to find clients, and that happens to be difficult. Very difficult for a lot of people. And to touch on the previous question, is it easy to get an investment with a good product? Keep in mind that investors are having a problem at the moment as well. If you are a fund manager today, you have to predict what's going to happen in the next 10 years. That's the life of your fund. And in this turmoil that we're having at the moment, new technologies, geopolitical things, etc., predicting tomorrow is difficult, predicting next month is difficult, 10 years, really difficult. Those guys are confused and afraid. So if you ask me, I don't know if a good product will get you investment. And there are different investors, and they think in a different way, and they bet on different things. But it's not easy for them. Sometimes they hesitate when they shouldn't. Sometimes they act too quickly when they shouldn't. But just keep in mind, it's a turmoil time. The water is muddy.
You're actually coming to the very core of the next question to Nadia, and it's that if we don't know what is happening and we don't count on the great product, I mean, kind of on the skill to sell, how do you build? Because I see this a lot in B2B startups. They don't know how to build authority fast enough to move, especially in enterprise sales, in B2B startups that have to somehow sell to enterprises. And you know, right now, everybody for some reason decided that it's a great idea to build an enterprise product. So how do they build it? Do they build it on relationships, reputation, what? Branding? Please say branding.
So yeah, relationship is very important, reputation too. Actually, in my opinion, relationship is one of the most important, and this moves the deal, actually. And the reputation, for me, it's reliability. So they need to do everything in order to be reliable. I know company that have great products, but the sales strategy is not enough, so those products are not known, and there are so many projects like those ones. So you need to be present. You need to be there. You need to be fast in the after sales service if it's a product or like advice. You need to be there. You need to be reachable. You need to make the customer work easy with you.
So no chatbot sales in the beginning.
I believe yes.
Okay, the last question is going to be for the three of the panelists. It will be the same question. But first of all, can you please remind me who of you are startups? Founders? Okay, most of the whole. Okay. Listen closely. Which founder profile will win over the next 5 years? The technical genius, the domain insider, the elite salesperson, or the ultra-fast operator? Choose your hero. Ivailo?
I hate that choice. Can I add options?
No.
No. Okay, so first of all, we have, as I said, we have the entrepreneurial DNA assessment, psychometrics test. By the way, if you catch me in the, after that in the networking, I can send you the test for free as a gift. But 200,000 times we did the test and we know that we have the data now. There are 3 traits that predict success in this phase from 0 to 1. It's first curiosity, extreme curiosity about everything. Second is perseverance. In Bulgarian we say inat. And third is self-reliance. We know for a fact that those 3 things work. Now, which one of those will have the best combination of those 3 in my mind? I would kind of guess, I would bet on the operator guy.
The ultra-fast operator, cool.
Yep.
Krasi, let's see who is the winner in the next part of Sofia Europe, Startup Europe Week, because he's the jury in the pitching competition. So who is it going to be? The technical genius, domain insider, elite salesperson, or ultra-fast operator?
Well, I'm not a copycat in general, but I will have to agree with Ivo on this one. I know you wanted a debate, but unfortunately, as you asked the question, I was also thinking of the ultra-fast operator. Yeah, I would bet on that person as well. Not that any of the other ones cannot win, they can. But the ultra-fast operator is the one that is gonna, if they need to pivot, if they need to motivate the team, if they need to change strategy, being a great operator is, I think, you know, a defining feature for successful teams. You always need that kind of person. So I would go for that one as well.
Great minds think alike.
Nadia?
100% like ultra-fast operator. And I believe that it's not easy for rigid mindset to survive in the environment of the new markets. So putting the client on the center, be fast. I think that this is actually the winner.
Okay, do you have your running shoes on? I hope you do, because it turns out we have to be fast. But also, like, think about relationships and think about the domain understanding, human relationships, community, distribution, and everything else. Do you want to add something? Please do.
I really like how we agreed on the operator guy, because they tell you all the time, it's not about the idea, it's about the execution, and now you heard the same thing in a different way. There is a good reason for that. If you don't do things, you're not an entrepreneur, you're just a dreamer. It's good to have a dream, but until you act on your dream, you're not an entrepreneur. In Bulgarian, предприемач means somebody who предприема, acts on something. Bulgarian is a great language for that. So, yeah, act, do something, and things will change, hopefully for the better. That's what I ask for you.
Okay, great ending. Thank you very much to the audience and to our panelists. And now let's move on with the program. What is next on the program? Do you know? Oh, we are actually into the startup arena. Are the startups and their mentor here? I think that I pushed this thing like 1,000 times. Mila, are you here? No. The jury? Maybe the jury can go. Thank you very much. Thank you. Krasi, don't go too far, because I believe that probably the jury will be on the stage, Nadia, or not? Will they be on the stage, or should they be in the first row here? The jury on stage. Okay. Now, moving on with the jury. I will start with Krasi because you just saw him and he's first on the steps. Krasimir Kehayov, Odyssey Ventures, angel investor and ex-investment banker. Applause, please. We have also Irena Kumitova, board member and CFO, and also 1,000 other things, among which the coolest TEDx organizer. So if you have great ideas, this is the lady. Gergana Stoichkova, fundraise ready. Please join me on stage. They do the coolest accelerator for fundraising. So if you're a startup founder looking into this funding thing, maybe you should call her. And the last one is actually Mila, who prepared the startups, and somebody has to find her, actually. Mila is the founder of Future Females, which is a community for female founders, like empowering female founders. Also, she is the founder of DEA Accelerator, one of the very cool accelerators for female founders. And you know, it is a problem that female founders get less funding, but more success. So let's hope that ladies like her will turn that, and the other ladies as well. Sorry, Krasi. I mean, an act of microfeminism I preach on this stage is I give the microphone first to the lady. Okay. Thank you. While we are waiting for Mila, let's actually get you girls to reply to the same question from the last panel. Were you here? Did you hear the question? Do you have another opinion, or are you confirming?
I was thinking the same thing. Perhaps I would add just a bit of the sales persona, but I was thinking about the last one as well, the operator.
Thank you. Irena, you have experience both in the US market in Bulgaria. What do you think?
Tell me the 4 options again, please. Because I'm not for the super fast operator, because how do you know you're super fast? There will always be someone faster than you. So. Okay, I'll go for the elite salesperson, because this is more related to our human qualities. And well, we all love, I guess, watching movies about people who are charismatic, who really go somewhere they have never dreamt of being, because of being good with other people, being good at selling themselves. Men do this very well, I can tell you. So now women, we are learning from them how to sell ourselves in business situations, I mean.
Thank you very much. She also has a business lady club, so she does know a lot of female entrepreneurs. Mila, can you join me on stage as the last person on the jury? Mila from DEA Accelerator, and are you ready? She's always ready. DEA Accelerator and Future Females. You can take a microphone, yes. What do you think? Who is going to win? The technical genius, domain insider, elite salesperson, or ultra fast operator?
I already know who's going to win, but I'm not going to tell you.
Okay. How do you want us to arrange the stage in order for you to see not their backs, but also the audience not to see their backs? Maybe in the
I'm guessing are we having the slides? Okay. Guys, we need the slides.
Okay. There are 4 startups. Do you want to start it with what you did? Tell us a little bit more about the process and what we will hear. Okay, thank you.
All right, listen everybody. This is also new information to the jury. There's a big surprise today that we are only going to have 1 startup pitch, because out of 5 that should have been here, just 1 came. So you already know that they're going to be the winners tonight. But anyways, I would like you to cheer for them just the same. And in the meantime, we're going to move a little bit to the side so they can put up the slides here. And you will see Christo, I think, pitch for a minute. We had a little workshop to prep for the session. We did a little physical exercises. you know, some push-ups, stuff like that. Kidding, of course. We worked on physical presence, we work on wording, we work on what you need to have on your slides when you're pitching, and you're going to see a very nicely made presentation and a person who's doing really well at pitching and really didn't need my feedback anyway. But let's applaud them and maybe wake you up a little bit. Okay, 1, 2, go now.
Actually choose whether to remain on the stage or be at the first row while they're pitching.
If we have the slides, maybe we can move to the first row.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Mila, can you maybe take the stage a little bit and tell us more about the process and what consists according to you? Let me be on the stage while asking you also. We started this session and the first day of Startup Europe Week. You want to sit? Yes, sure. We started the first day with a pitching, let's say, workshop with 2 discussions. We spoke with Christina from Impetus Capital of how do investors see pitching, and we spoke with Konstantin from Future Unicorns because he's just back from the US, just been into many meetings with startups, with big VCs, and also on big events. And I also shared my view from hosting Pitch to Pitch with 250 pitches in the last 5 years. So tell us what, according to you, is the first skill that consists a great pitch? Because you had like 1 hour with them, right?
Yeah, just one skill?
No, maybe say what you managed to do in 1 hour. You said that you worked on the body a little bit.
Yeah, but that's like, you know, secondary type of information that people will actually understand about you. Usually what happens is you will see a person and you will already have an impression in the first 3 to 5 seconds, but you will focus on more on what they're saying than on what their body does, but this will affect you anyway. So we did in fact work on body language a little bit. This is something that's good for you to work on when you're pitching, but it's not the most important thing, I would say. Most people just do pitching quite well if they practice a lot without specifying, you know, work on the body language. What you need to do is you need to speak slowly enough so people understand you, because, you know, startups get 3 to 5 minutes time to pitch and they try to babble all the information out very quickly. And so this way it's not really easy for people to understand what you're saying. And then of course a great presentation is very important to show what you're building, who you're building it for, why now is a good time, what's your market, and what's your unfair advantage. And then maybe you can ask for money as well, but it's not really 100% secure that you're going to receive it. But do ask, always ask for something. If it's money, if it's feedback, if it's you know, introductions to people you might think important to yourself. I would say this is the gist of a good presentation, of a good pitch, and then anything else you can work on is just working in your favor, but it's, you know, nice to have.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to pitch what you do? Are we ready with the slides? No.
Okay,
this
let's
is a
see
cool
who knows about the Dare Empower Accelerator here. 3 people, 4, 5, 6. Okay, sold. What we do is we run a female founders focused accelerator. It's called Dare Empower Accelerate. We have a 3-month program where we teach people how to basically put up their business to the real world. We have a lot of pitch sessions. We do a lot of demo days like this, so startups get to pitch in front of a big audience and jury members that ask hard questions. Everybody is very nervous at that time, but then they say this is the best experience they've had all year. So I'd say this is a pretty good pitch about the accelerator.
What about future females?
And they accelerate as well. We're working, by the way, with Space Tree Venture Studio. If you're not familiar, they're a venture studio working with startups at the moment. I think Kingo and one more whose name I don't remember.
Okay, the slides? Or should we say a joke?
We can have the audience ask questions. I mean, why not?
Yeah, there is one person in the audience that just ran into me in the hall, and he said, "I watched you do stand-up last time," and that's because usually there's something with the slides or with the jury or something else, and we need to like sit down. It's a sit-down comedy. It's not a stand-up comedy. Okay, do you want to ask something or pitch something?
All right, listen. There's free beer and free, I don't know, whatever drinks upstairs, and whoever asks the questions, you know, you can get a free beer. I think this is not working.
No.
I don't tell good jokes, maybe she will. Okay, yeah.
Requirement.
Okay, you've covered the first requirement, you're a woman, so that's okay. Next requirement, you can have a mixed team, you can be solopreneur, whatever, but you must have your pitch deck, your idea ready. If you're too advanced for us and say you make, you know, 250K a year, we are not going to be able to scale you. We work with early stage startups, so basically you come to us with your idea or, you know, early MVP, and the next season is going to start 11th of January 2027. Applications will come in September this year. If I was a good salesperson, maybe I would have already given you that information in advance. We good? Yeah. Okay, guys, we good. Can we get some applause?
Good luck. Thank you, Mila.
Hello everyone, my name is Hristo Georgiev and I'm the CTO of Fair Market, the only platform that collects all real estate data for Bulgaria. Slide. Finding and evaluating real estate properties in Bulgaria is very difficult. Professionals need to spend a lot of time looking through all the platforms, all the sources, and then to find out what is available, and then from there, of course, there is the duplications, mistakes in the properties listings, and so on. And that eventually leads to missed opportunities. It leads to high expensive mistakes when purchases are made based on partial information. Next, that's where Fair Market comes in. We collect everything from everywhere, and we make sure that real estate agencies, investors, evaluators, and developers have a quick and easy way to find out everything on the market, analyze it, and then be able to identify undervalued opportunities and act on them. Next. We have a very simple unified search across everything. So in one place you can go and you can search for all the agencies and social media, government auctions, and everything in one place. And then based on that you can then do a very quick comparisons that normally will take you minutes, hours for a normal professional. This takes several clicks. Next. We also utilize we also utilize AI for, of course, data analysis and helping to be able to understand about the area, how that area, the trend of the area, comparison between locations, and really kind of be able to make evaluation of a property. On top of that, we also have an AI assistant, which is really powerful in that it helps you to understand, to make natural language questions to find out about properties, and also like find out about news and everything else that we have stored as context for the area. Next. We have a market of 72 million across Eastern Europe, which is our main goal, and of course in Bulgaria that's 3.8 million euros, and that's quite on the lower end. Next. We have a business-to-business model at the moment. That's what we're focusing our sales targets on. It's a 200 euros per month subscription starting, and we're aiming for 120,000 euros in sales by end of year 1. Next. We have several competitors that, of course, we keep in mind. Their marketplaces and agencies only rely on their own data. There are some evaluators that have more partners, but again, the data is always very fragmented, very little. In the case of evaluators, it's only for a few cities. We do everything. Next. We have quite a bit of traction. We have already established several letters of intent. We have a live product with 800 listings, and we are in the process in the next few weeks to establish POCs with several companies. We have a strong team with 10 years of experience across the different domains, and we are very excited, next, to focus on developing the business-to-business model by the end of the year, also releasing a B2C model, and then finally, later on next year, expand into outside of Bulgaria. We are asking for 100,000 euros for sales growth and product development. Thank you. Please.
Thanks for the pitch. First of all, congratulations. It was a very tough start, so you did very well. So I have a few questions. I will start one by one because I also want to give the mic afterwards. So my first one is, you mentioned that you have letter of intents.
Yes.
Who are the letter of intents from?
Some of the bigger letting agencies in Bulgaria, like Yevlena and so on.
Okay, and you're mainly selling to agencies?
So we're also investors. We're interested in investors. We haven't started yet exploring developers and the rest, but we validated it with agencies. Like they saw it, they said this is good, we are interested. So then we are finalizing now to set up POCs.
And final question for now. And in terms of agencies and investors, so you mentioned the market, but we skipped very quickly. If you're focusing on agencies, how many would you say can you cover in the region?
It's very difficult to evaluate, and again, on the more conservative, we're calculating with 1,200 agencies across all of Bulgaria, but our math comes to the lower subscription tier for one seat. That changes if you have more than one agent that you want to have individual access, so there are additional add-ons. So our valuation is again on the conservative side.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.
Tell us a little bit about the sales qualifications of your team to cover these 1,200 agencies.
Well, that's a big task. We have, again, a team that is with experience in pharmaceutical, well, not specifically in agencies, but they're doing very well at the moment. I mean, every meeting that we have seen so far has either resulted in a letter of intent or, again, discussions about changing features for POC. But that's why the request for additional funding so we can expand that team. We appreciate that this is our bottleneck at the moment. We have a product, it's working, and we just want to now focus on sales.
Who have you tested your product with so far?
Can you please, I'm very sorry.
Who have you tested your product with?
With letting agencies in Bulgaria. Address, Imoteka, Yevlena, investors.
Okay, please tell me about the testing process. Like they used it for how long? What was the feedback?
The POCs are in the process of being set up. We have had demos where we have shown the product.
Okay, so they've only been introduced to the product for 30 minutes, or they've actually used it?
Very short time. We have explained to them how it works and everything. They've said that we are interested. We would like to have a POC, free POC. And then, but everything that we have shown them so far, they have all tried to develop similar products, and they all reached the point where this is expensive to support. It's easy to build. Everyone, I mean, it's cloud AI. Everyone can try to build something, but having the scale and supporting it is very expensive. So the address, for example, started and has given up on it, and they were interested for us to do it, so we can then support it ourselves.
So tell me why it's so difficult to support.
Because sites constantly change. I mean, every website constantly changes their UI, and then you need to adapt your language to adapt to that. You need to be able to improve your valuation to actually be helpful, because nowadays valuation is based on price and this. So we constantly need to adapt.
what market would you target and when? Like after Bulgaria, like when do you want to go outside?
Closer countries, Romania, Slovakia. We have identified that they also have very segmented property markets with the platforms and everything being spread out.
Okay, so when you said the size of the market was how big?
3.8 Bulgaria.
No, I know for Bulgaria.
Yeah, 72 Eastern Europe.
Eastern Europe.
Yeah, that was basically, we looked at, again, which countries, again, I believe it was 10 countries we identified, or 8, which were, again, based on a very, very segmented, very poor experience in searching for renting and buying. And that's where we found out how many agencies there were. And again, on the more conservative side, estimated on the lower subscription tier.
Thanks. Should.
I'm biased.
Okay. I guess I'll pass the mic back to my fellow jurors, but last question from me for now is, in terms of, you know, comparisons of like other products that are in, let's say, in Western Europe, because obviously you're saying in Eastern Europe it's fragmented. So what would you say is your guiding star in Western Europe? Like what is your product that you like that they've built in other markets that are more developed than ours?
Well, I mean, there's some market leaders in America, but again, they're slightly different. Like Greece Street has stand out as a big leader in America, but again, they focus predominantly on commercial estate, but they do it very well, and we're very impressed by them, and they're very successful business. They're also a hub, photo hub, I think. Can you please go back?
Is Zoopla in the UK something similar to you?
Yes, I'm in the UK, Zoopla, Rightmove, of course, very familiar with them, but no, they give you a very unique, very little information compared to what we can provide. And again, they only give you information based on what is uploaded to the platform, but we have learned from them. For example, they show you historical listings, so you can actually see what was sold before and how it has
I've
changed.
used Zoopla, so I'm familiar with the process. I've actually had a property management company for 9 years in the UK, so I'm familiar with their market. Yeah, I'm just drilling down into.
No, of course, please.
If you're saying that you don't see a standout in the UK, why not also go after the UK market, which is one of the largest property markets in Europe?
Because we heard, for example, that Green Street is starting to enter in the UK, so I didn't mention it, but well, we want to start with because in UK you have these market leaders where changing people's opinion to change Rightmove and Zoopla to change something like this is very difficult, whereas with us, people are not happy with the experience they see used on the platform. It'll be very easy to change, and we see the same in Eastern Europe as well.
Thanks. Yeah, you said you might have a question?
I have one or two more, if I may. So one of them is regarding entering new markets. So my question is twofold. On the one hand side, what do you need to do on the product side and integration so you can enter a new market? And the other one is, how do you do the go-to-market itself? How do you reach out to new agencies, new investors, anything sales marketing?
When we developed the product, we were designing it with this ability to be able to place in a different place, so pipelines and everything will be moved over. There is a component of scraping and the way we do things that will need to be adapted to the platforms that they use there and the social media that they use there, but that's very manageable. In terms of go-to-market, that will be similar to how it's now, where a lot of it is word of mouth, networking, and reaching out to agencies and kind of showing them the product. When we go with a good product, it's a very positive conversation.
Nice, and
And we are trying to develop our social media, so we are also posting and wanting to share more statistics. So we're starting to show statistics and trends, so we get more and more traction. And we're interested to see what will happen with BTC when we release that.
Okay, thank you. Very final question from me then. Tell us about your team. Do you have experience in this space? What drove you to the idea?
I personally I've been in technology for 10 years now, like very much cybersecurity and technology, but we have advisors that help in the real estate, evaluators that we bring in to help do the mathematics and kind of help us evaluate and tell us what is important and so on. But no, we have a very strong technical team, and again, we are adapting for the real estate part.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Will we have another one, Mila?
Nope.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Do you know what is the most important part of each event? Not the end, Venti. Not the end. First of all, applause for applause to our streamers and video partners for long years. Thank you. Thank you to all of you in the audience. The most important thing about of each event, of course, guys, is the drinking and networking, and it's waiting for you upstairs. See you tomorrow. We have a great day ahead as well. So now introduce yourself to you saw who are the people with the money. You saw who are the people with the money, saw who are the people with ideas. Now mingle with cocktails and beers from our sponsors. And see you tomorrow. Yeah, do you want to add something? We'll give awards to the one startup, which is the single most important lesson of tonight, guys. Just show up.
Okay.
So please.
After a very difficult discussion here, we know who the winner is. So we were discussing among ourselves that we want to give you guys something small from everybody. So from my side,
please welcome on stage.
So I'm coming with you apparently.
Yeah, we're streaming live, and this event is held in 500 cities across how many? No, 100 cities across 16 countries or something like this. The big numbers here.
All right, guys, so congrats from me. What I wanted to offer is I just launched a brand for fundraising readiness last week, and next week we're doing a fundability sprint. So if the topic of fundraising is relevant for you and you want to know how VCs are thinking, how they evaluate companies, what is important in their from their point of view, you're very welcome to join us. Come speak with me and I will tell you how.
First of all, thanks for the pitch. Good job on pitching. I think that I have some pointers that I will share afterwards. So that's going to be part of the award from myself. Maybe it was mentioned earlier, I'm also part of the Bulgarian Angels Club syndicate that I manage for the club along with other investors. So as a word from us, we would like to invite you to also pitch the Bulgarian Angels Club. Given the size of the funding round that you're looking for, I think this is a good fit. So, I'll obviously share more about this, but yeah, we would love to hear from you at the Bulgarian Angels Club.
Exactly. Today's biggest lesson is show up. Be there. Do it your way. So you all, thank you very much for doing it, showing everyone how brave you are. And I would like to give you 5 tickets, because you're 5 on stage, for the next TEDx event, which is on 7th of October at Grand Hotel Millennium. So it is easy for you to find me. So I'll send you the tickets. Congratulations.
Thank you very much to the jury, to the participants, to all the startups in the hall. Now let's go drink and get to know each other. Nadia, do you want to add something? Yes, tomorrow with running shoes, as we understood, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the organizer.
Thank you so much for everyone being here today, and we invite you to Startup Europe Week 26 in Sofia tomorrow as well, starting from 5 p.m. We have interesting panels in AI, defense, deep tech, funding in the innovation and defense project type. So we will be happy to receive you tomorrow as well. And now we invite you to our networking cocktail on the 6th floor. You can access only from the elevator, and then you can enjoy drinks and snacks from our sponsors, Heineken, Devin, and Bratanov Wines. Thank you.